was a California August in '82 when my mother gave birth to the Spam Tech crew. 13 years later had me looking at Linux. Programming made me stronger like Papa the Spinach. Now, people know that a DG carry weapons, but if that weapon is a nest, you step in. We finish Contra with only one life. Finish Metal Gear 2 using only a knife. Right. People might think that we're frontin', then they see all the noobs online that I'm putting. My rhymes flow just like my code, even though my source is owned by Sko. What about my Indian? I keep it low. See me on Gunbound, call me pro. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. No. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Crackers spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Crackers spam. I said my heart's wide open, goatsy, and my windows min like Ho Chi. I'm just another nerd, but I rap about it. Shit talk on the net, then I laugh about it. I've been caught slipping like the Star Wars kid when I'm on eBay sniping a bid. Catch me on a webcam like Numa Numa. See me at the club and I'm rocking Puma. Another net legend if you see me yodel. Spit a little something that's anecdotal. Tell me about the time the E-Bombs world stole your chop like I stole your girl. Catch me on Gen May, not something awful. Low tax would ban me, raffle. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Crackers spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Crackers spams. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Crackers spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Crackers spams. Yeah.
What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, and I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the often retired but never expired Resident Justice. What's up, RJ?
Hey, what's up, Tony? It's been a while.
Popping in the last moment.
I know. I was just got the shower, so.
Ooh, sexy.
Right now.
Towel or no towel? Do you air dry?
Oh, I gotta use the towel, man. Air drying would take too long.
I don't know. You just kind of shake like a dog, like.
Yeah, you could.
Right in front of a fan. You're all good. I get two Mexican ladies that just kind of whip a towel at me.
Yeah.
Like Nacho Libre. You ever see that?
Oh yeah, of course. Classic movie.
Oh, I love that movie. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but I actually do enjoy.
No, I like Nacho Libre as well. I think it's a fun movie.
We got a lot to talk about. I mean,
yeah, it's been a crazy weekend. A lot of things going on. Mostly bad news too.
Mostly bad news for if you're a DC fan. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, I didn't really see any bad news. We got Kraven coming out. That's great news.
For some people, I guess. We'll talk about it though.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We got to talk about that. Obviously, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the Flash, flushing all of DC's cash right down the drain. Just
it's pretty bad.
And you know, some people are kind of blaming Ezra Miller.
Well, we'll get into it, but personally, Tony, I don't think it's just because everyone's trying to play coroner, right? Everyone's trying to be like, how did the victim die? How did this movie die? There's no one cause of death. It's more like death by 1,000 paper cuts, or it's more like there's like multiple causes of death?
I think there's two myself. I think it's only two causes of death, and both of them start with Ezra and end with Miller. But we will get into it. We also got to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It was pulled from theaters in the Middle East. Why is nobody talking about this? There should be outrage. Where's all the SJWs complaining that they pulled this movie over a trans flag? It's almost like there's a religion out there that we just can't criticize for some reason.
I've seen some people criticize it, though. I've seen others celebrating it because it's like, oh, they're rejecting the woke agenda, which is that's not the case. It's more a religious thing, but you know.
Yeah, we got to talk about we're going to a little bit Elementals that also came out.
Yeah,
that flopped too. Jack Kirby's son is dragging. I say dragging, but he's really just challenging the narrative over this new Stan Lee Disney Plus documentary. So we're gonna get into that. Gal Gadot, whatever the hell her last name's pronounced, she's out as Wonder Woman. I think I'm the one who said this like months ago.
I mean, as soon as they canceled Wonder Woman 3, everyone kind of figured.
No. Don't give it. I hate this rewriting history. So many of you were going, oh, well, she's still coming back.
Not me. Listen, not me. I thought she was done at that moment. I thought, oh, they're rebooting. She's gone.
I wasn't
one of the people.
There was a lot of people going, nah, she's still coming back. She's going to be part of the reboot. Don't worry. They're not recasting her. Yada, yada, yada. This doesn't mean anything. I remember. I was there. What else we got to talk about? Like I said, Kraven the Hunter, we got to go over that. And then if we have time, apparently the Flash director, Andy Muschietti, is being tapped for the new Batman movie.
That's not happening.
Well, we'll go over that. I don't think it's happening anymore. Variety reported this the other day. What is this? 4 days ago? Something like that. So we'll go over that.
Oh, Justy Views asked a good question if we're going to do Flash spoilers at all when we talk about the movie.
No, not really. This is not like a review or nothing. We're not going to talk about spoilers. We shouldn't, that I know of. It's just mostly going to be why the movie bombed, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to approach it.
I think there might be some minor spoilers because we might mention like things like cameos or something, right?
Potentially, yeah. Just depends what we're discussing.
So I would say if you don't want to know anything about the Flash, maybe stay away, right? Because there will potentially be spoilers. I'm not like saying no spoilers or spoilers. Like I don't know. Like we're just gonna start talking and shit happens, right?
Right.
Yeah. What's up, Samir? It's his first time watching your stream. Ooh, it's a good time to dive in. Has Max paid me yet? He has not. I actually tweeted him out. Hey, don't forget you owe me money for the bet. He hasn't responded. I don't know. Maybe I should call him on the phone.
How much does he owe you?
I thought it was like $100. It's between like 10 and 100, somewhere in there. Because I remember he was really adamant about it making $1 billion.
Was he though? Because he wasn't planning on even seeing it. He still hasn't seen it, as far as I'm aware. He
wasn't going to see it. And then remember the Super Bowl trailer came out, and then he was back on board.
But now he's not on board, but he's still seen it anyway. I'm very confused.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of his streams since I stopped going over there.
Yeah.
I just know the last time we discussed it that we had made a bet on whether or not it was going to make $1 billion.
Right.
And as far as I know, right now, Black Adam is the highest box office grossing film in DC since like 2018.
And that's pretty bad because Black Adam was also a failure. So
it's really bad.
Into perspective.
It's almost like, man, maybe they should have went with The Rock, right? It's like,
no, because The Rock failed too. These movies has failed even worse.
Yeah, I think these movies failed worse. So then, I mean, if you went with The Rock, it'd still be a failure, but it'd be a less failure, right?
No, because The Rock and his plan was like going to be really expensive, so they wouldn't spend any more money, and they wouldn't be making any money.
Possibly, but The Rock wanted to keep Henry Cavill, so you'd have that going for you. They probably would have had the different ending in the Flash movie.
Well, yeah, the ending that, well, can I say what the second ending was that they were planning on doing?
It wasn't in the movie, so it's not a spoiler.
DeLuca and Abdi were trying to change the ending of the Flash, so they filmed a new ending that would have tied into Black Adam, where the ending that they shot before James Gunn took over was going to have Supergirl, Michael Keaton, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill. That way, Henry Cavill will be established in the universe, so they could proceed with the Black Adam plan to have the Justice League and the Suicide Squad fight Black Adam. That's what they wanted. They wanted Black Adam basically be like the Thanos of the next phase of DC, where he'd be the big bad.
I think that'd be a lot better. They'd be in a better position, I think, personally.
But nobody showed up for Black Adam, though. Like, nobody cared.
Yeah, but you say that, and then nobody showed up for Flash either, right? So,
yeah, so that's why it's probably just best to cut your losses and just start over. Because, no one cared either way.
But I think with Black Adam was already an unknown property pretty much. It did bad, but I think if they knew it was going to tie into the Flash and going forward more stuff, I think it would have built momentum, right? Remember, Marvel didn't start off making billion-dollar movies, right? Yeah, they were making $100 million, $200 million movies.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think the first Iron Man made about... Because remember, though, this is 2008 to 2011 money. It's different now, so it's a different standard. But if I remember correctly, and people can correct me if need be, I think Iron Man 1 made $500 million. Incredible Hulk didn't make that much money. I think it was $300 million. Iron Man 2, $600 million. And I think Captain America made $400 and Thor made $500 or something. They didn't start making a bunch of money until the Avengers. That was one of the first ever billion-dollar movies.
Oh shit!
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. I need one of those buttons. I need a sneeze button. Yeah, it was $585 million. Was the box office for Iron Man.
Okay, what about the rest?
Hold on.
So I know Incredible Hulk and Captain America did the worst of the initial movies, but Incredible Hulk was the worst one in terms of box office.
Oh yeah, it was fucking horrible. I think they only made 100-something million. Let's see, Iron Man 2 made 623.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Iron Man 3 made 1.25 billion. Wow.
Because that was right after the first Avengers movie. Everyone was riding that hype.
And that movie sucked.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 wasn't great. I mean, there's aspects of it that I like, but yeah, it's not a movie I revisit very often.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've revisited any Marvel movie.
There's been a couple for me. Mostly it's been in terms of rewatching the first Captain America, the first Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Civil War, the first Avengers and Avengers Infinity War Endgame, and the Spider-Man movies, and Shang-Chi I've rewatched. So, not all of them, but there have been some I do go back and watch. If I'm up for it.
So Hulk made 264.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Captain America made 370.
Yeah, which is a shame because Captain America: The First Avenger is a really good movie.
And Thor made 449. So yeah.
Yeah.
What Black Adam make?
I think less than 400.
Let's see. Black Adam film, according to Wikipedia, 393. So look, it was more than Captain America, right?
Well, that's what The Rock said on Twitter. He's like, well, we made more than the first Captain America. That's literally what he said on Twitter. I remember that. He's like, well, we didn't make all that much money, but we made more than Captain America. We're okay. It's all good.
I think it would be all good. I think if they had established that it was going to lead into stuff, things were put in place where you knew the wheels were in motion.
Yeah. Well, Samir brings up a good point, though. Black Adam's, the initial Marvel movies didn't have budgets higher than 200, 250. Black Adam's budget was insane. That was at least 250 plus, I thought.
Was it?
It was at least 200 million.
Let me get it back up. The budget for Black Adam was 190 to 260.
Yeah, and probably the 260s when you take into account marketing, I'm guessing. So it was a pretty expensive movie.
Yeah, let me see. Captain America was what? Captain America, the first Avenger, had a 140 to 216 million. So not that far off.
Yeah, guess not.
Right? I think people are using the high end Black Adam number and then the low end Captain America number to compare them. Like, oh, see, look at the difference.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, he made more money than the Hulk, and the Hulk is shit. At one point, that was like their top star in Marvel.
Well, yeah. Well, I remember when they were launching the MCU, and they said, "Oh, like in terms of like the top tier Marvel characters before Iron Man and the whole MCU started, it was Hulk, Wolverine, Spider-Man. Those are your top three."
Then they just totally ruined the Hulk, and that was the end of that.
Well, we have She-Hulk now.
Like I said, they ruined the Hulk. Will there be a Brown Adam, Latino discount style? Possibly. I think the whole bait and switch with the Black Adam not being the hero, like I think that was stupid in the movie. Hulk has not always been ass. You're wrong, 56K.
Well, the movies, like the 2003 Hulk movie, wasn't very good. But I like the.
What, the Ang Lee?
The Ang Lee Hulk wasn't very good to me, at least. But the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, I did really like that movie. I think it's very underrated.
I think they're both underrated. The Ang Lee Hulk movie has fantastic cinematography. No other movie replicates the style of an actual comic book as accurately as the Ang Lee Hulk movie. It has panels within panels. It
was trying to, but I think Spider-Verse actually did it well, though.
I haven't seen Spider-Verse.
Really? That's shocking.
It's a cartoon. Well, I was like...
Yeah. Well, I guess you're talking about live-action movies. Yeah, that's been the closest live-action movie to ever try it. But I appreciate that Ang Lee was trying to be very artistic and, like, trying to do some bold things to that movie. Just didn't really work out. There were some elements of, like, how he approached the story, too. I wasn't really a big fan of how they did some of the stuff there. Yeah, I mean, you know...
I don't know how much he was hamstrung by the studio saying, well, you have to use this, and you have to use this.
But character. A lot of stuff he did was just, like, not from the comics, though. Like, he really, like, tried doing his own thing. Which
like what? What wasn't from the comics?
I'm trying to remember. Again, you probably know. Listen, I know Hulk a little bit. Not like his dad being the Hydrogen Man or whatever, like the Hydro Man, and like the stuff about like the dad injecting him with stuff when he was like a kid. I think that was from the comics, though, wasn't it?
Okay, the dad injecting him stuff with doing experiments on him, that was from the comics.
Okay, but what about him being the Hydro Man? Like,
he wasn't the Hydro Man in the movie. He was the Absorbing Man.
Absorbing Man. That's my bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was new, but I think they wanted the Absorbing Man in the movie. But they didn't want the whole crossover with Thor and all that stuff. So they did this, like, convoluted, turn his dad into the Absorbing Man.
Well, there's weird stuff, too, like, where, like...
Those dogs were from the comic books.
Really? Even the dogs?
Yes, they're from the comic books.
Because the dogs are weird. I didn't like the dogs. I didn't like the dogs at all, what they did with that. And there's some other stuff. I'm trying to remember, like... I did like the cast, though. I liked Sam Elliott as Thunderbolt Ross. I thought that was good casting.
Yeah. I think where it failed is it tried to be too many things at once, right? The villain was weak.
For me, at least, you know what I think the biggest issue of that movie was?
What?
Not enough action.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Like, the villain was weak because it wasn't, like, action-heavy between him and Nolte. The dogs was, like, the only real fight was him against the dogs. Like, the idea of him not killing, like, they really went out of their way to be like, no, see, the Hulk dumped that guy out of the tank before he threw it.
Yeah, they wanted the Hulk to be like the gentle giant in a way where it's like, well, he's a hulking monster, but he won't kill anybody.
Yeah, I think that was bad.
That was the problem. Is that I think that they Ang Lee misunderstood. Like, I get he wanted to do like the monster angle, like the man and the monster, and try to make him like the gentle monster. But people go to this movie for like action. You can't just have it be like a lot of talking and dialogue.
Yeah, but again. I asked the question: how much was it Ang Lee that made the decision, or was it like Marvel Studios going, "Hey, you know what? We can't have him kill nobody. Keep the destruction to a minimum."
I mean, that's a possibility. But for me, at least, I think to myself, like, what toy company or like movie executive is not going to want their Hulk movie to have action? Like, if anything, I think the execs would be like, more action. You got some toys. Throw in more explosions. You know?
Yeah, but they were building up. Even back then to the Avengers, remember? So in their mind, they're like, if we make the Hulk too much of a villain, it'll be weird to have him like, oh yeah, we forgive you for killing all those people in that movie.
I don't think they were thinking of the MCU.
No, they did. They 100% did, because if you go back and look, they even had plans for an MCU. They wanted an Avengers with the Hulk. It was Hulk, Captain America, Shang-Chi, Power Pack, and...
What?
Black. Yeah, go back. There's
No, not
articles.
Chomsky and Power
Yes,
Pack. Really?
yes, because those are the only characters they had at the time.
Oh, you're talking about Universal?
No, I'm talking about Marvel. Marvel had plans to make a MCU before they got Iron Man. They were already in the phase of like, we're gonna make an MCU type thing, and they were like, well, these are the only characters we have, so we're gonna just go ahead. Doctor Strange is gonna be in it too. Like, we're gonna go ahead with the characters we have and create MCU, the Avengers.
That would have been so weird.
Yeah, it was 100% like these weren't going to be the Avengers, but it was, like I said, it was just who they had, right? They had Doctor Strange, Power Pack, the Hulk was going to be like their main guy, was going to be the Hulk. So I think that's why the Ang Lee movie, was so nice, because they're like, hey, you know, if we're gonna build the universe, because like you said, he was the A-lister, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have your A-lister be the fucking bad guy.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, but still, that's just such a weird decision on their part.
Why hasn't Disney bought back the rights to Hulk or Namor? From what I understand, they did get the rights back to Namor. That's why he's in Wakanda Forever.
They have the rights back to Namor, but they don't have the rights to Hulk.
I hear, and again, you know, you always hear different things. I hear they have the rights to the Hulk. They don't have the distribution rights to a
That's
single
what it is. Yes,
Hulk
yeah,
movie.
my bad. Yeah, they own the Hulk, but they can't distribute any Hulk movies because that they have to
Solo
distribute the
movies.
Universal. Yeah,
Solo movies.
yeah.
So technically, if you had like the Hulk and Doctor Strange in a movie, then it would be okay. Like if you called it like Doctor Strange 3, Hulk goes on a rampage, right? And that's the name of the movie. They'd be cool, because that's why the Hulk was able to be in Thor. What was it Ragnarok? And it was basically a half Hulk, half Thor movie anyway, right?
Yeah, and that's rumored to be what they're doing with Captain America: Brave New World, where it's also going to be like a Hulk movie as well on the side.
Yeah. So, I mean, so they basically have the rights back. And then, like I said, the Namor thing too, I think there was like a lot of confusion as to who had it. At one point, supposedly Universal had it, and at another point it was like Fox because of the Fantastic Four thing. But now apparently Marvel just has it. So, not that they want it anymore with everything going on with Tanakh.
Which I have the way that he responded makes you think it was probably a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. But I don't know.
Well, the lady claims there's going to be a lot of people coming out, right?
I'm waiting for it.
I'm waiting for it too, but you know, we'll see. But anyway, let's dive right into this shit here. We'll start with the Spider-Verse stuff. No, I don't want that. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was quietly pulled from cinemas across the Mideast. It's actually the Middle East. I don't know why the hell this writer put Mideast.
Yeah, that's weird.
A trans flag may be the reason. I know, like, the Mideast, they used to say, like, war in the Mideast, and then they just changed it back to the Middle East, but I guess this guy's, like, trying to stoke flames, trying to make people think it's, like, in Ohio or some shit.
Maybe, I don't know.
1 week before the anticipated release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in the Middle East, the Sony blockbuster has been quietly pulled from cinemas without an official announcement as to why. The sequel to the 2018 Oscar-winning animated hit Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which netted around $400 million at the global box office and over $1.7 million in the UAE, was listed in the cinema programs as recently as last week in countries such as Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Lebanon, and Egypt, but has since disappeared from listings. Across the Spider-Verse has seemingly fallen afoul of strict LGBTQ plus censorship laws due to a blink and you'll miss it scene featuring a transgender flag poster that reads "Protect Trans Lives." I think there's more than just that, right? Isn't there like a couple of trans flags in the movie?
So there's like background details if you really look for it. So Gwen looks to a picture of her and Miles on the top of the door with a frame. There's a Protect Trans Kids thing, and like there's like a button on a jacket that says like has like the trans flag on it, and then Miles in one scene on his backpack there's a BLM sticker on it. That's it. Those are like the three background details in the movie that would seemingly get it banned. That's it though.
I don't think the BLM thing has anything to do with LGBTQ.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's another thing that people were ragging on the movie for. I'm just bringing it up because it was mentioned as like something that like could get it banned. I don't think it would, but
I don't think it would get it banned from the Middle East over BLM. Honestly, I think they could give a fuck less about whether or not they is like the trans thing, yeah, but the BLM thing, I don't think. I don't understand why they wouldn't just blur it out or whatever, remove it. Usually that's what they do anyway, right?
well, the last thing I remember when with the movie getting banned is like with China, for example. I think No Way Home. They said the reason it got banned, like the reason China didn't approve it, is because they're like, they fight at the Statue of Liberty at the end of the movie, and we're not cutting that out. So, sorry. Which is so weird. That was a weird thing back then.
Not really. I mean, China doesn't want to talk about freedom.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I don't know the whole thing with that.
China, if you don't know, is a authoritarian government in which the people are oppressed and they don't want to be wowed by Western views, right? They think that we're evil, and if their people see, hey, those guys have food and or freedoms, they might get a little antsy there in China and want to jump ship. That's why they had the internet like fucking locked down over there, and why they kill all those Muslim Uyghurs and no one says a thing.
Oof. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they literally had concentration camps like a couple of miles away from where they shot Mulan.
Oh yeah. That was a big thing.
Yeah, it was a big thing until like for like a week, and then everyone just stopped talking about it.
Yeah. Tends to happen. People get upset about something, and then it just goes away.
Gwen's father has a trans flag sticker.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, on like his jacket or something, like a little pin.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole Gwen is trans thing that's been going around?
Personally speaking, at least for me, I don't really consider that character trans, but if people want to headcanon that, even if I think it's stupid, whatever. As long as you're not trying to shove it down people's throats or just be like, you have to accept the character as trans, even if you don't agree with it, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I
think it makes no sense.
I don't think she's trans, but again, if people want to say that she is on Twitter and just whatever.
But again, I just don't think it makes like she's just Gwen Stacy, right? As far as I know, like, she's just Gwen Stacy in another universe, right? It's not like a new character or like a character like she doesn't dress up in like say a regular Spider-Man costume and then take her mask off like, oh, it's Gwen Stacy underneath, right? She pretends to be a boy. She calls herself Spider-Man. Like then I'd be like, oh yeah, she's probably trans, right? But she's like, I'm Spider-Gwen.
Well, yeah, and her.
Unless the implication is that she used to be a man, and is now a girl, right?
I don't know. I don't know what they're trying, like what the headcanon is or what they're trying to say. I don't know.
Who cares? All I see is Gwen.
If anything, I think it's just more so like because she plays in a band with like a bunch of like other women. It's more likely that either one of her bandmates is trans or like maybe she has a trans friend and she's just an ally, I guess. Versus like, oh, she's trans.
Or they just put it in the movie because the director's an ally, or
yeah, like a background detail or something. Yeah, I think it's more so she's just like the character's an ally of the community or something. I honestly don't think the character herself is trans.
I mean, it would only make sense that she went from a boy to a girl because there's like no cock outline in her costume, so she's obviously not.
All right. Let's not try and get canceled, man. You're already talking about China and the concentration camps. Not trying to get the stream taken down.
The stream's not getting taken down. China's not canceling us. Fuck China.
Well, the thing
Fuck Winnie the Pooh.
Right. Well, the thing for me too is that this article I already see talks about the pink and blue hue color, right? But people fail to understand that that's been the character's like color scheme since she was introduced in the comics. Like it's always been her color scheme. It's not like, and she was never trans in the comics, so it's like. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she is just Gwen Stacy. It's not like she's Peter Parker and then like she turned into Gwen Stacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like this is a different universe.
Yeah, there's a Peter Parker in her world. Like we see in the opening of the movie, there was a Peter Parker, and then like they do the whole origin story thing with like him being the lizard in that universe. So like,
It's okay to have headcanon she's trans if people want. I don't know if it's like in my.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I might not agree with it, but if you want to do that, as long as you're not trying to like force people to say that she's trans when they don't agree with you, like whatever.
I think when it stays headcanon, right, and it stays in your head, it's fine. But when you start vocalizing it, then you've opened up the possibility for people to be like, "No, you're an idiot," right? Like if I said my headcanon is that Peter Parker goes home and like murders people and eats them, you'd be like, "No, Tony, that's fucking stupid. Why would you say that?" Right? So as long as I keep it in my brain, it's okay. But as soon as I verbalize it, you guys are gonna call me out, right? It's only fair. And I think it's the same way here. Like, yeah, it's fine to think it, just don't speak it. Once you speak it, then I'm gonna call you an idiot. I don't know, cancel me if you want.
Nah.
RJ's regretting coming on the stream. Like,
no, it's fine. No, I mean, like, I haven't talked about it because it's just for me personally, like, nothing I say is going to make anyone happy. You know, so just, like, whatever.
Justin View says, wait, Gwen is trans. No, that's what they're trying to say because she had some trans iconography in the background.
Well, yeah, and the other big thing is that because you haven't seen the movie, Tony, but there's like a scene where like she comes like
I know where she's like I can't show them who I really am, and it's just a superhero scene. It's just about being a superhero.
Well, some people in the trans community thought like it really like spoke to them as like a coming out scene. Like they
of course they did.
They felt that way, like that connection to it. That's why people are headcaning it because it's like, oh, this really like felt like
I think that scene speaks. I saw the scene I didn't see the whole movie, but I seen that scene because it was all over Twitter, and it spoke to me as a conservative in a democratic house. I was like, that spoke to me because I had to hide my conservativeness, you know.
God damn it.
So I think my headcanon is that she's really saying that she's actually a conservative and all those people are communist, and she has to hide that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember when the movie came out. I don't know if you saw this, Tony, but when the movie came out, people were saying, "Oh, she's trans because of her costume colors." Yeah. There were some people making fan art of Miles Morales as a Nazi, saying, "Oh, well, his color scheme is the same as the Nazi flag."
No, they weren't. I think they were just trying to point out the stupidity of.
I know, but like we took it to an extreme, you know, like goddamn.
Also, like the whole thing with like Penny and Miles, them trying to like ship them.
No, I think about the Spider Bite character.
Penny Parker.
The anime girl? Or are you talking about
yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that was all. I saw it all over Twitter the other day. They're like, because people were complaining. They're like, oh, she, Gwen is like 17 or 18, and then like Miles is only 15. They're like, that's not safe. He should be.
She's only 2 years older.
Yeah, well, they're like, well, he should be shipped with Penny, and people are like, wait a minute, isn't she like 12? And then they were arguing about like, well, in the comic she's like 14, but in the movie maybe, and then like in the comic he's this old, and in the movie he's
that's why social media is hellscape.
Yeah. Tony, I will pay you to see Across the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen the first one, so how can I see the second one?
You can watch the first one on Netflix, I thought.
Is it on Netflix?
It might be. I thought it was.
Is the second one on Disney Plus yet?
No, it's a Sony movie. It's going to go to Netflix first, probably.
All right. Well, when they're both on Netflix, I'll watch them back to back. I didn't like the art. That's what turned me off when I saw.
How do you not like the art?
Because I didn't.
But I'm just saying, like, what about it? Like, did not work for you?
It wasn't traditional animation, so I didn't really like.
Yeah, because it was trying to be experimental. It was doing something new. Like, it revolutionized animation. Now everyone's doing it.
It doesn't mean I have to like it.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying I'm just surprised.
An old man yelling at the cloud. I'm like, I just didn't like the way like, I don't like Kel arts. Like, if it was drawn in Kel arts, I'd be like, this is stupid. I don't want to watch this.
What do you define as Cal arts?
Like Steven Universe.
Just that one show?
Well, that's the style. I mean, do I got to give like 6 or 7 examples?
No, I'm just like, I haven't really, like, because when people say Cal arts, they have like so many different examples that don't really mesh. If that makes sense? Because, like, people say Gumball is Cal Arts. It's not Cal Arts. Steven Universe, okay, I can maybe see that, but, like, not Gumball, for example. That's not a Cal Arts thing.
No, Gumball is.
Gumball's not Cal Arts.
Not all of it. Gumball is Cal Arts, but they also do other things on Gumball. But you got, like, Gumball, was it Star versus the World or Saves the World?
Oh, Star versus the Forces of Evil?
Yeah, then you got... what was that? Like the Thundercats Go or whatever the fuck that was?
Oh, nobody watched Thundercats Go. Or Thundercats Roar. Thundercats Roar.
I say Thundercats go. What is like fucking
Teen Titans, yeah.
I mean, it's a distinct style, but it's just not one that I enjoy.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Thundercats Roar definitely was Kellogg's. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gumball is. I've watched Gumball. It's actually pretty decent.
Gumball is good. It's a funny cartoon.
RJ, leave Tony. We could have our Goat trilogy to watch.
Yeah, I know.
How old am I? I'm 42, Samir. So, that shitty Aquaman show, yeah, that was definitely Kellogg's.
Well, that Aquaman show is made by the Thundercats Roar people.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, let's see what it says. The film subtly integrates additional affirmation for the transgender community, with Spider-Gwen, voiced by Haley Steinfeld, prominently displaying pink and blue hues, symbolic of the transgender flag, while her father's police uniform briefly reveals a badge adorned with a trans flag. How dare they? LGBTQ plus activities are still illegal in the United Arab Emirates and, according to the Equaldex, are punishable by life in prison, flogging, chemical castration, forced psychological treatment, and even death.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. They do some messed up things, man, which nobody talks about.
Of course not. They can't talk about the religion of peace. Why is it that this is okay, right? Like, no one talks about this. Because this is obviously all done in the name of religion, right?
Mm.
But when a Christian says, "Hey, I don't jive with this as a Christian, right? I'm not going to bake a cake." He's not killing anybody. He's not castrating anybody chemically, right? He's just like, I'm not going to bake a cake. Like, everyone lose their fucking mind. You know, they're tossing motherfuckers off buildings in Arabia, and it's like, yeah, it says another day, whatever. I know. You know, I call a woman sexy, and that's a huge issue. They tell women they can't leave the house without a man. And no one blinks an eye, right? No one bats an eye. It's okay. I'm just saying. Priorities is what I'm saying. Dude, Gumball's like the kid version of South Park. It is actually really good. It's really good. I'm 46. Watch Spider. I'll eventually get to it, Samir.
Let's give him time.
Yeah, give me time. I got a lot of things. I do a lot of stuff. So although censorship laws in the region have recently loosened in a bid to appear more liberal, it's likely that the scene in question clashed with the local customs and values guidelines. Sony and Empire Entertainment, the Middle East distributor for the film, did not respond to Fortune's request for comment. As entertainment companies strive to be more inclusive in their content, the list of films blocked from release in the UAE keeps growing. Just last year, Disney and Pixar's Toy Story spin-off Lightyear was banned in several Middle Eastern countries over a scene depicting a same-sex kiss between two space rangers.
Which was so stupid. It was like one blink and you'll miss it moment.
No, it wasn't. That's a lie. Don't lie. Don't even lie.
Well,
RJ.
no, okay. Well, hold on.
There was literally, it was one whole scene where like, it's our anniversary, and there was a whole thing. It wasn't like a...
Well, kind of. Like, it was.
I watched the movie.
I know. It's been a while since I saw it. But I remember it was a thing where Buzz kept trying to do like the mission again and again and again, and time kept passing. So when he opened the door, like suddenly time would pass, and like his best friend got married, and like there was like that one scene, yes. But it wasn't like a big deal. Like they're like really drawn out. Like, oh, it's my.
No, it wasn't like a 45-minute thing, but it was still like, it was not a blink and you miss it. It was prominently displayed on the screen. It was. Like, you needed... This was information they were giving you, like, hey, this is how much time has passed. They got married. And then there was a whole follow-up about them being married and having a kid and stuff, right? It wasn't like... It just went away. Yeah.
To be fair, Tony, I have not thought about Lightyear since I saw it in theaters. Like, that movie was
I'm not saying the movie should have been banned or it was, like, horrible. Like, oh, my God, the movie was ruined because, like, there was two... I'm just saying, like, to pretend like it was just this, like, small thing in the movie. It's kind of disingenuous.
I honestly just didn't remember the movie. Yeah. I don't remember that movie very well.
Similarly, Pixar's animation Onward was axed from release in Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia because of a reference to lesbian parents. Meanwhile, Thor, Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, West Side Story, and Eternals also face bans in the Middle East under similar pretenses.
Wait, who? So, okay... Multiverse of Madness was banned because of America Chavez, because she's a gay character and she had two moms.
Is she gay?
Yeah, in the comics, like even in the movies, they said that she's a lesbian. Yeah, she's always been a lesbian.
I know the moms were. I didn't know. Like,
Yeah,
she's like underage, so I don't think they even mentioned like.
They don't mention. Well, I think she's like 17 in the movie, like,
which is underage.
Yeah, it is. But if I remember correctly, like that, like she's like the most prominent lesbian character in Marvel Comics. Like that's how she's always been depicted.
Does she come from like a lesbian planet? It's like a lesbian universe. Are there men in the universe?
I don't know, Tony.
I'm just saying, like, is it really being a lesbian if you're an alien and there's nothing but women?
Well, she's attracted to women even on the 616 universe when there's men around her. So
yeah, but isn't that like alien-ality or something? She's not human.
Well, technically she is. I mean, she just comes from a different reality. We don't know what constitutes human in her reality or ours. If you think about it. So the Eternals got banned for the gay Eternal that had like the husband and the kid. But why was West Side Story and Thor: Love and Thunder banned?
Thor: Love and Thunder,
any gay characters.
There's gay characters in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Who? I forgot.
What's his name? Korg's father. Remember, he mentions how his dads fell in love.
Oh, and they hold the rock together at the volcano to make the baby. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
As far as West Side Story,
but that's not gay though. Like his species is only men.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not really. They're just rock. They don't even have like genitals.
Yeah, there's no gender. Yeah.
West Side Story also has that one chick that dresses up like a dude.
But she's not gay though, is she?
I think in the original she's not, but I think in this version they imply that she's like trans. Like in the first one, she's just a tomboy, right?
Mm-hmm. But I never watched the West Side Story movies. I don't know.
I did. I watched them all. I like musicals, but I think in this one it's more implied that she's transgender. So, with film prohibitions being a fairly regular occurrence in the region, you may assume that its residents are shrugging off another ban. However, fans are taking to Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, and more to voice their anger over the removal of Spider-Man.
Yeah, because you don't mess with Spider-Man, man. Everyone loves Spider-Man around the world.
This sucks. I've never missed a movie with Spider-Man in it since 2012. A Redditor user complained. Don't link it, though. That's funny. Meanwhile, TikTok users are sharing their distraught reaction to the news, which is racking up thousands of views.
Okay, here's a couple, I guess, that they linked.
Yeah. In the comments section of these videos, you'll find a mixed bag of responses from fans. Some are in denial of the ban, and others are sharing ways to circumnavigate it. Meanwhile, over on Twitter, one user vented, the UAE literally banned the new Spider-Man movie because a trans flag was in it for literally 3 seconds. Just like delete the scene and move on. I was excited to watch it too. See, this I think is stupid too, right? This response. Right?
Well, I get their point though, where they're just saying, listen, I just want to watch the movie. Like, I want to go see it in a movie theater. Just like, if you want to have this rule, just get rid of it or like censor it and let me watch the movie.
Yeah, but then I understand that, right? I just want to watch the movie, right? But at the same time, you're literally like, hey, instead of like, maybe we should rethink the whole philosophy we got going on over here, right? This is stupid, obviously. Nah, just delete. Like, we don't really actually care about trans rights. So just delete the scene because we don't.
Well, yeah, when you put it that way, I get that. But I mean, what's easier to do? To ask your country to change its ways overnight, or just to ask, can I just watch my damn movie? I get it though. I think that people should.
What was easier to do? Ask our country to change and allow gay marriage, or just go with the flow?
I don't know.
What was easier to do? Just have separate but equal, or to march for freedom, RJ? This being Juneteenth, I think you know the answer to that one.
Well, yeah, I know. I get what you're saying, Tony. I do.
So you're telling me Heartstopper, a television series, is okay, but Spider-Man isn't because there's one trans flag. I hate the UAE. I don't know what Heartstopper is.
Heartstopper is a Netflix series about two gay boys in high school. It's like a romance series.
Well, I mean, maybe they're okay with the gays, just not the trans, right?
That's such a weird thing, though. Like, I don't get that. Like, why is one okay, but one's not okay? Because I don't think they like any of it, which is weird.
I don't know. Across the Spider-Verse is the second part of the trilogy that will conclude with the third chapter, scheduled to hit regional cinemas next year. Everywhere except for the UAE.
Most likely, yeah.
That would suck if they got rid of those in the next movie. So like, Arabia gets the first and the last, and not the middle one.
And then they're gonna be like, "What the hell happened in the second movie?" Because it ends on a cliffhanger. It's like, "What the hell happened?"
Is this article from that Scott guy? What Scott guy? It's not from that Scott guy, but I don't know who the Scott guy is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Hey, what's up, Jamie C? I don't know. Sounds stupid. It sounds like, I understand religion and all that, but I don't think any country should be run by religion, right? Over on the Twitters, because I was actually on Twitters a lot the other day. I seen somebody, I'm not going to name any names, but it was somebody who's a prominent Christian comic book writer, right? And he was like celebrating all this stuff, and he was saying that free speech isn't the answer, right? Free speech isn't the answer.
Huh? Free speech is not the answer?
Yeah, I think it was like free speech was never the answer.
So they don't want free speech?
Yeah, because the Bible, something about the Bible. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because I know I retweeted. It's quote tweeted it. Yeah, here it is. Free speech was never the answer. Because he put the little bell graph, the little bell thing. And it's like on the one side it says, I want to say the N word, the F word, and the J word with the low IQ. And then on the other end with the low IQ, free speech is a satanic ploy concocted by Enlightenment era philosophers to undermine Christian civilization. He's saying those are the smart people, right? And then dumb people in the middle, I support all free speech. Free speech was never the answer.
Oh, Jesus.
Very religious man. But then I said, tell that to the guy they nailed to the cross because they didn't like the things he was saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, no response for that. No response to that.
Oh, of course not. That's the problem with a lot of these types. They're very hypocritical and don't actually, read what they worship.
No, they just pick and choose.
That train?
Yeah. I live near the tracks. Remember?
I forgot. Because I live near tracks, too, so I couldn't tell it was mean. It was, really loud or what.
Yeah. So, I believe, obviously, I have religious beliefs. I hold them real close to my heart. But I don't think you should be weaponizing religion, and I also don't think you should be taking things from the Bible and using them willy-nilly. You don't speak for God. God speaks for himself. He doesn't need you to speak on his behalf, right?
Yeah, 100%. I get that.
Just like I think Melanie Mack was celebrating some church getting burned down. What is this person's complexion? Surprisingly, he's Latino.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah. Like I said, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus because I share a lot of mutuals with this person. Yeah. And it was really weird because Melanie Mack is she's doing the whole Christian thing and
Yeah, she's been doing some weird stuff. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's doing the whole Christian thing despite having tattoos, which are, against the Bible, despite being divorced, which is, not really kosher with the church.
Yeah, I mentioned that you're divorced. They hate that.
So, it's just weird. It was just weird. All right, let's see what old Jack Kirby's son has to say here. This is from Deadline. Jack Kirby's son challenges Stan Lee Disney Plus documentary narrative. Did you watch the Stan Lee documentary?
No, I haven't gotten a chance to, but I want to. I've heard it's actually quite good.
Well, apparently it's full of misinformation.
Well, yeah, I mean, the history of Stan Lee, we'll get into it, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, Stan Lee's a interesting fella. The new Disney Plus documentary on the life of Marvel Comics editor Stan Lee has drawn flack from his co-creator's son. That's a weird sentence.
Yeah. Which we'll get into. I think there's a lot of weird things with this whole thing, to be honest.
I think it should be from Spider-Man's co-creator's son or Marvel Comics did they co-create the son? Is that what? I don't know. It's a weird sentence. I don't like the way the sentence is. Disney Plus's documentary Stan Lee has been challenged by Neil Kirby, who posted a series of tweets with the assistance of his daughter Jillian Kirby. He needed his is Neil Kirby that old or something?
Yeah, he's very old. Yeah, he's very old.
I didn't realize that. The complaint states that Lee received far too much credit for creating the Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk, and other Marvel characters that Kirby had a hand in bringing to life. Quote, are we to assume Lee had a hand in creating every Marvel character? Are we to assume that it was never the other co-creator that walked into Lee's office and said, Stan, I have a great idea for a character? According to Lee, it was always his idea. Lee spends a fair amount of time talking about how and why he created the Fantastic Four with only one fleeting reference to my father. Neil wrote that Lee relied on others for major plot points. It should be noted and is generally accepted that Stan Lee had a limited knowledge of history, mythology, or science. On the other hand, my father's knowledge of these subjects, to which I and many others can personally attest, was extensive. Einstein summed it up better. More the knowledge, lesser the ego. Lesser the knowledge, more the ego. And that's why I am so humble. Because, I know a lot of shit. Neil Kirby said that he had enough of Stan Lee myth and is defending all the writer and artist whose work was overshadowed. The post concludes, it's way past time to at least get this one chapter of literary art history right. Enough said. Short and sweet article. What do you think?
All right, so here's my position on this whole thing, okay? I understand, and I do believe that Jack Kirby needs to be recognized a lot more, and he should be celebrated a lot more. Jack Kirby did a lot of amazing things for the comic book industry and for Marvel. He's called Jack the King Kirby for a reason. He's a great guy. He was a great guy.
I've never met him. I'll take your word for it.
Well, I meant like everyone who's ever worked with him, like just the way he conducted himself. He's always been considered a very kind and a very good person in the industry. Here's my issue with this whole thing, though. Does Stan Lee get too much credit? Yeah, a bit. But you have to remember at the time that Stan, he became this icon, right?
But he's Stan the Man Lee.
Well, that was the persona, though, Tony. That was
so Jack the King Kirby, that's not a persona. But Stan the Man Lee is, I don't know.
But not to the same level, because Jack Kirby got the nickname the King, but he never was the guy that they put in front of everything. Stan was like the guy who did all the TV stuff. He's the guy who did the promotion stuff. Like, he was the face of the company. Jack wasn't. Kirby never was that. Which maybe he should have been. That's a conversation of the day. Here's my thing, though, right? I don't think it's right to go after Stan Lee when the man is already deceased, okay, when this is a documentary meant to celebrate his life, to be like, yeah, this documentary is horrible. He had a huge ego. Like, there's a time and place for this. There's a better way to articulate that you want your father to get a documentary, get some credit from Marvel. And attacking a documentary about Stan Lee, I don't think is the way to go about it. Because, again, it just comes off very cold. The man's gone. He can't speak for himself anymore. It just feels a little dirty to me, to be honest with you. And I agree that Jack Kirby needs credit. I do. I think he should get his own documentary. I think he should be celebrated and talked about a lot more. But it's wrong to go after Stan after he's already passed. It's wrong to attack this documentary at this point.
I think the real issue here is what counts as creating the character. Right.
Well, that's the issue too. It's like, how do we because sorry to cut you off, Tony, but I got very irritated because when discussing film, that Twitter account posted about the story, somebody in the replies was like, Stan Lee was just as bad as Bob Kane. Yeah. No, he was not. Yeah. Bob Kane was a scumbag. Okay, watch the Bill Finger documentary and look up what Bill Finger actually did. Bob Kane had no issue taking credit for everything. Stan on multiple occasions has praised Steve Ditko. He's praised Jack Kirby. He's done a lot to try and uplift those two men and what they contributed. But remember, Steve Ditko didn't want to be part of the public eye. He vanished off the face of the planet. Like, he liked being private. He didn't like people to know what he was doing or where he was. So it's a very different circumstance. I think comparing Stan Lee to Bob Kane is not only incorrect, but I think it's very distasteful because Stan was not a bad human being. He was not like a scumbag trying to purposely take the credit for everything from another creator. That's Bob Kane. Bob Kane was an egomaniac. And I think Stan had an ego too, but not to the same extent, in my opinion at least. Bob Kane legitimately ruined Bill Finger's life. It's not the same case.
Yeah, like I said, like I was trying to say, I said, what really constitutes creating a character? Like if I go to RJ and say, "Hey, RJ, I got an idea for a character. It's going to be a guy who does kung fu, and he's an alien from a planet where everybody's made out of cheese and they're yellow, right?" So that's the idea, RJ. And RJ whips up a drawing, and he's, here you go. Who created the character? Did I create the character? It's my idea, right? But the character didn't come to life until RJ drew it.
Right. It's like you had the initial premise, but I'm the one who drew it and made it the iconic imagery that it became. Because I was the one who designed him and made him like look the way he does and everything.
Yeah, but then, the third guy will say, Samir comes up with the original story. He's like, "Oh, well, here's the first issue, right? I'm gonna pitch you the first issue for Kung Fu Cheese Guy, right?" And so that's the iconic story that people think of, right? So who created it? Did I create it? Because I had the initial pitch. RJ drew it, so RJ should get credit for that. But Samir's the one who came up with the story where everybody loves, right?
See, and that's the issue when it came to, for example, Spider-Man, right? Stan, I could be completely wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Stan had the idea for Spider-Man, and he took it to different artists to try and draw it. Initially, he went to Jack Kirby, but, Jack Kirby, like Stan, was like, he doesn't look right. So he took it to Steve Ditko, and Steve Ditko was the one who drew him and came up with the concept design of the character, right? That's why they're co-creators. Same thing similarly happened with Batman. Bob Kane had the idea for a vigilante, right? But Bill Finger was the one who came up with a lot of the ideas and the design and like the actual character elements. So it's like, that's where we get into like that whole tricky thing about the co-creator, like who actually did the most work and who actually, that's why often it's just a co-creator thing. Because I was like often writer and artist, the guy who came up with the idea and the guy who drew it brought to life.
Yeah. So, I mean, did Stan create most of them? I think, and from what I hear about all the situations, it usually was like Stan had an idea for a thing, like, "Hey, we need a team of like teen heroes," right? And then like the artist would go to work, bring something to life, right? We want a team of four heroes. One is a woman, and one guy's strong, and I think it was a stretchy guy and a guy on fire, right? Like, so it's hard to say. Like I said. Does he get too much credit? Maybe. He also had to have final say, right? So you come to Stan Lee and like here's the drawing, like you said. And he's like, I don't like that, right? So I mean,
well, yeah, he was like I think at one point the editor in chief, and he was like in charge of everything. So I'm sure, stuff got passed by him,
And maybe he was like, hey, this is good, but maybe add this, right? Change that a little bit. So you drew it, but Stan was still probably giving notes and refining the character until it finally was like, boom.
Yeah,
this is.
And like I said, I want to clarify to you, like I think Jack Kirby deserves credit, and there's a time and a place for him to get his story told. But crapping all over Stan Lee and just documenting when the man's already passed, that I'm just like,
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
What?
So I'm browsing Facebook, and this suggested for you page popped up saying DC Nerd. It says Ian Lowe, Littleberry, poses for a photo with Ezra Miller. It has 6.5k likes and 5.2k comments. What do you think the first comment says?
No idea.
It's with 4,200 likes. Hopefully the kid remains supervised. And the next one with 1.5k likes says, "Run away, child."
Yeah, that's about right.
God damn, man.
I agree. But no, like I said, I'm not here, sticking up for Stan I'm just saying, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. We've heard things over the years as to what was going on. Stan having different inputs, Stan forgetting things. As far as I know, Jack Kirby wasn't like making a big noise about things, right? Until like later.
Maybe, I don't know. To be fair, I'm a little bit ignorant on like the whole history and what happened.
Because remember, Kirby went from Marvel to DC, and he came back. So how mad could he really have been, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know.
I think maybe the angle the Sun should go with, like, Stan Lee came up with the idea. Just give Stan Lee the credit for coming up with the idea, right? And just be like, hammer home the point where my father took what Stan Lee said and he brought it to life, right? He brought Stan Lee's vision to life. Jack Kirby knows how much he got screwed over. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Tony, people will get mad if MCU doesn't say thank you to Jack Kirby at the end of the Fantastic Four movie. Yeah, I'm sure they will, because Jack Kirby did, like I said, he brought them to life, and he...
Well, yeah, he was the co-creator along with Stan Lee.
Well, not just that. Like, his art is what really brought the Fantastic Four, you know.
Yeah.
Kirby bubbles are a thing, right? Like, you don't know what Kirby bubbles are, do you?
Oh, no, I know what Kirby bubbles are. I'm sorry. I was reading something else. I was looking at something. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, he invented a lot of, like, the modern comic book motifs. You know, he popularized a lot of stuff.
56K warnings. Giving him credit will be a gateway for them to start suing. Possibly. They could just say something like special thanks to Jack Kirby, right? And that's it. Like, they don't actually have to say, hey, Jack Kirby created Fantastic Four. Just, hey, special thanks to Jack Kirby's contributions over the years, right? Yeah, he created the New Gods. Because that's when Marvel and him had the falling out. And if you, I think it's the first issue of the New Gods, like, when he introduces them, did you know that they actually killed off the Asgardians?
Did they? I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, in the very first issue, that's why they're the New Gods, right? In the very first issue, Jack Kirby subtly hints that these gods are replacing the Marvel gods, and I think, like, you can see in the people that he draws that it's them.
Yeah, but obviously you couldn't directly say that because it was DC, so
Yeah.
it's more like implied. That makes sense.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Kraven the Hunter trailer. Aaron Taylor Johnson stars in bloody Spider-Man villain origin story.
I know, finally an R-rated Sony's Marvel villain movie. I don't know why Venom Let There Be Carnage wasn't rated R, but finally, I mean, at least they're doing something.
I was surprised that Morbius wasn't more violent, being a vampire movie.
Yeah, well, no one really talks about Morbius anymore.
Also, Morbius was really gay. I don't know if people realize this, but Morbius is a gay love story between the two main characters.
Was it, though?
It is. Watch the movie.
I haven't seen
Morbius. 100% Matt Stone's character is in love with Michael Morbius' character. 100%.
Weren't they raised as brothers, though?
No, they weren't. They were
Okay,
raised
I
in like the
didn't
same
watch
like
the
little orphanage thing, but not as brothers. They knew that they weren't related and everything. They were like really close friends, and there's like subtle things in the movie. Like, he goes to a bar to pick up women. He's like, this doesn't feel right. Like, he's not comfortable. You can see like he's all like antsy about it. Watch them. You got to watch the movie. It's not that bad for what it is.
I really don't want to, though. I really don't want to.
Tony, you want to tell us something? It is private. I don't need to tell you anything. I have a kid.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I mean, Ezra Miller had a kid too, but I didn't kidnap mine.
Okay, let's read the article.
I'm sorry, but this Kraven trailer looks okay. I'm not confident in Sony no more. Conservative Gadot. I don't know what the hell that's about.
I think Samir's referencing the meme where a lot of conservatives are closeted gay men.
I am not, sir. I'm like El Pacino. I like the pussy. All right. Aaron Taylor Johnson is hunting big game in the first trailer for Sony's Kraven the Hunter. The new film teases a villain origin story for Marvel character. Who writes this shit for a Marvel character? Or the Marvel character? For Marvel character? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I don't think they edited that.
Man, these people get paid so much money. And they can't. I'm autistic, leave me alone. In comic book storylines, Kraven is a killer predator that sets his sights on Spider-Man. He is oftentimes portrayed as a member of the supervillain team, the Sinister Six. Well, I mean, that's not even... That's partially true, I guess.
It's the most basic explanation of who the character is, but a lot of it, yeah. I mean, that's not entirely accurate. I mean,
Kraven is a hunter.
He's a hunter who gets bored and it's like he wants to be challenged, so he goes to the biggest hunt possible, which is the Spider-Man.
But at the time, remember, Spider-Man was still seen as a villain by the general populace. So
yes, yeah.
He was actually hailed as a hero. They're like, look, he's going to hunt the Spider-Man. And like, yeah. Right? But we know he's a villain because we read comic books, right? But like the people in the Marvel universe thought he was a hero when he shows up.
Yeah.
The latest in Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, which includes the Spidey spin-offs Venom and Morbius, as well as the upcoming Madam Web. Kraven the Hunter is set to be released theatrically October 6th. Taylor Johnson stars alongside Ariana DeBose, Christopher Abbott, Alessandro Nivola, Russell Crowe, and Fred Heikinger. There's like 2 names I recognize on that list.
Yeah, it's a lot of unknown actors and a lot of Russian actors, which makes sense.
The trailer teases that villains aren't born, they're made, showing how the film will explore how Sergei Kravenov transformed from a young boy raised in harsh conditions into a murderous menace.
Yeah. Did you watch the trailer, Tony?
Yeah, I watched the trailer.
He gets his powers from the blood of a lion.
That makes sense.
How does that make sense? He gets bitten by a radioactive lion? Is that what's going on here? Like, is the lion mystical? Like, how's the lion and biting him and like the blood getting on him?
Well, in the comics, see, here's the thing, right? In the comics, originally, Kraven has no powers. None.
He's just the best hunter.
He's just the best hunter around, right? And eventually he cannot defeat Spider-Man. So he goes to Calypso, and Calypso makes him like a little concoction that he drinks, and it makes him like one with the animals. And, like, it heightens his senses.
He's not powered at first, but he gains powers because he's tired of losing to Spider-Man because he wants to hunt him, get it.
In this, there's probably going to be an explanation, like his blood fused, and he gained the spirit of the lion, because the lion's the greatest hunter on the savannah or some bullshit, right?
Yeah, but it's still weird. I mean, listen, it's better than I love Spectacular Spider-Man, but Kraven was weird in that show. Like he was doing experiments that turned him into an actual like lion man. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I hope they don't do that in this movie.
They literally just steal Catman's story for Kraven. I didn't know.
Yeah, kind of. Have you looked? Do you know who Catman is from DC?
I know who he is. I didn't know.
Yeah, like Catman's origin and Kraven's origin are pretty much the exact same. It's very weird. Like they literally copied Catman from DC.
He got that Mufasa blood. Oh yeah.
But here's my question, Tony. Why is it that Russell Crowe sounds more like Kraven than Aaron Taylor Johnson does? Like Russell Crowe has a thick Russian accent. He looks like a hunter. Aaron Taylor Johnson just has like a typical American voice. Isn't that weird?
I mean, he tried an accent. You could see like there's a little, but I think, again, in the context of the comic book origins, they tried to raise Sergei to learn like more things, outside of Russia. And in the movie, it could be because remember they said that he just came back. If you listen to the movie, they sent the mom away. Remember?
Yeah, I mean that explains how he was away. He hasn't been in Russia. He picked up another accent, I guess. But I want him to have the thick Russian accent, man.
And his mom could be in this movie American or non-Russian, right? That's why she's.
Well, I'm also concerned. Like they're saying, like, oh, he's an animal rights activist now or something. He's not like.
No, they said that he had respect and love for animals, but I could see that.
Yeah, but still, like.
That's not an animal rights activist. That's just like a guy who's like, animals are cool. I want to use them.
I still want him to hunt animals, though.
I think he is. But he's going to also like they showed him using like a wolf to like attack that guy.
Yeah. Which I just hope it's not like a nature thing where, he doesn't hunt the animals, but he will use them to hunt people. Like, come on, no.
Well, people are the deadliest.
It's still lame. I want to see him hunt some animals.
But that'd be lame for like maybe at the beginning.
It'd be a cool.
Did you want to like have like a 90-minute movie of him just hunting animals in the savannah?
No. Think about it. Like, what if he hunted like animal supervillains? Like, what if
he is the rhino is literally in the movie. He's in the trailer.
Yeah, but he's a human who turns into a rhino.
He's a rhino man.
Yeah, whatever. Like, but imagine if like the movie was about him hunting down the lizard. Like it was like a horror movie or something.
Well, I think that might be why he comes to New York.
Well, that's the video game. That's the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be in the...
Oh my god, I just realized something. What if the post-credit scene for this movie is him hearing reports about a vampire in New York? And
he is.
My next hunt is here.
It's not going to be a vampire. It's probably going to be like a creature. There's a creature in New York killing people. And he's going to go hunt it.
Oh my god. If this movie ends with a post-credit scene showing Morbius and Vulture, I'm gonna die inside a little bit.
Why? They're bringing them all together.
This Sony universe is so bad.
No, it's not.
It's horrible.
You haven't even seen Morbius, so you don't even know it's bad.
I watched the post-credit scene, Tony. It was the worst post-credit scene I've ever seen in my entire life.
They're gonna have Venom is gonna be the Spider-Man of the universe.
Oh my god, please no.
He is, because they already made him a hero, so he can't be part of
Tony, they turned all of them into heroes. They're all heroes.
Well, Morbius is a hero. They've only turned Venom as a hero.
But then why in the post-credit scene did he team up with Vulture to kill Spider-Man?
He didn't.
Yes, he did. He's
no, he
interesting. No. I don't want you to kill Spider-Man. No.
First off, he doesn't even know who the hell Spider-Man. There is no Spider-Man in their universe.
But the Vulture literally asks him to team up with them to kill Spider-Man.
I think he says to stop Spider-Man. I think
no, to kill. He said to kill Spider-Man. He said to kill Spider-Man. I remember.
I'm pretty sure he said, well, "I'll get the fucking post-credit scene up."
He literally says, "We're gonna kill Spider-Man."
I think you're thinking of the deleted scene that they showed, and not the actual.
I could have sworn that post-credit scene, Vulture asks him to team up with him to kill Spider-Man.
Well, like I said, I'll just get it up for you. You know it's on YouTube.
Oh, of course it is.
And it's in 4K. Look at that. Hold on. We'll stop sharing that. Because RJ's insistent. We got to find the answer to this.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But still, either way, it's a dumb post-credit scene because they set up more hero.
Look at that. That's Spider-Man causing that from Into the Spider-Verse?
No Way Home, yeah.
No, that's not No Way Home.
That's No Way Home. It's the same little thing.
No, they said it's from Across the Spider-Verse. They said that in the Across the Spider-Verse, I read that. Across the Spider-Verse says that because of what they're doing, it's causing villains to pop in and out of realities.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right, yeah.
Because remember, No Way Home, it's only villains that know his identity.
Yes, yeah. But they did tease that it was kind of like one of the breaking points, too. But yeah, Spider-Verse did establish that. You're correct, yeah. How about it?
We don't need the whole. Let's just get to the part with the fucking.
Yeah, the very end. Right here. How about there? Why Morbius wants to team up with Vulture, I don't even know. Because the movie ends and Morbius kind of establishes somewhat of a good guy. They're not really a hero, he's just a guy reacting to things around him, but whatever. Go ahead.
But maybe he doesn't know. Like I said, I don't think he knows who Spider-Man is. Like, some dude's like, hey, Spider-Man's evil. I'm like, okay.
That doesn't matter. They're not going to do anything with this because this movie's a huge failure. So
yeah, they are, because they're going to make the Sinister Six.
Yeah, Anthony, great question. How the hell did Vulture get his suit? He was in the prison all by himself. He didn't have no suit. He was in jail. How do you get a suit?
If you watch the movie...
He didn't get a suit!
If you watch the movie, they tell you that he shows up in the prison cell, right? I would assume that he was in the suit and that he didn't know where he was, so he didn't attack the guards and they just took it from him.
No! Go back to the beginning when he gets...
Yes!
He's in his jail outfit. There's no suit.
But if you see, like, the thing opens up in the sky, I don't think it's implied that this is, like, immediately I think this is showing you, like, later, right?
I don't think so. The way, like, the scene's shot, it's like he immediately gets in the prison.
Yeah, I think the scene's shot poorly, but I think...
It's dumb. Like, that's him waking up, like, and he gets out of jail right there.
Maybe he builds a suit. Maybe he goes...
How does he build a suit that looks the exact same? With, like, because remember, the MCU, his suit was made with, like, MCU technology.
Maybe there's a suit in that universe.
There's no explaining it, Tony. There's no explaining or rationalizing it. It makes no sense.
I don't know. Maybe the suit came through too and he found it.
Why wouldn't the suit be in a cell then?
Maybe he phased in the cell in the suit. I don't fucking know, RJ. I didn't make the rules. He's just in the suit.
It's just stupid. It's stupid. It makes no sense.
Because he wasn't in the suit. Because if you actually watch this scene, they dubbed his voice in over.
Oh yeah. It was clearly CGI. Yeah.
So I think originally this wasn't how this was.
He probably just showed up in his normal clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely.
Because remember, there's that cut scene where he's like Michael Morbius. He's talking to him, like walking out of the prison or whatever.
Be seeing you soon, Doc.
Yeah. So I think that's how it was originally going to be, but then they're like, oh, we got to put him in the suit and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah, this feels like a reshoot.
Because even this makes no sense. Like, why was Morbius waiting for him?
Yeah, why'd he even show up? Like, how does he know he's going to be here?
Yeah. He just shows up to like some
This
location.
entire post-credit scene's so bad.
Thanks for meeting me, Doc. I've been reading about you.
I'm listening.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
See, I think what he's saying
so
here.
poorly dubbed over, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, so what I think what he's saying is from the other scene, like the scene that it was supposed to be, and then they just
They
like
cut
CGI.
it out. Yeah, so they still left it in.
Yeah.
So
So that
the audio is really bad. It's really bad.
it's terrible audio. That's what I'm saying. I think that's from the original scene, like what he tells him. I don't try, Tony. It's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous, but it's still fun.
I'm still figuring this place out, but I think a bunch of guys like us should team up. Could do some good.
Intriguing.
See, he never said anything about killing
Okay,
Spider-Man.
my bad. But still, he how did like why does he want to team up with the bad guy?
He doesn't know he's a bad guy. He literally shows up and goes, "I don't know how I got here, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. I think guys like us could team up and do some good." And he's like, "Okay, let's fucking team up." And that's how it ends. Like, there's literally...
Okay, but it's still stupid.
I didn't say it wasn't, but it was completely not what you said. That's all that matters.
Okay, well, all right.
You were like, "Let's kill Spider." Like, I know he didn't say that shit.
You mentioned Spider-Man. That's all I remember.
All right. Where were we? With superhuman abilities such as enhanced strength, speed, agility, stamina, and longevity, as well as a wide range of weapons at his disposal, Kraven seeks out his prey with unmatched vigor. Sony first teased the movie at the Film Exhibitor Industry event CinemaCon back in April, bringing Taylor Johnson on stage to present footage to an audience of theater owners. During the introduction, the actor made the declaration that Kraven would be rated R, promising some bloody violence. Prior to release, Marvel fans had speculated that Tom Hardy's Venom and Jared Leto's Morbius could earn R ratings.
They should have been rated R, to be honest.
They should have, but both released under PG-13 from the MPAA. Kraven marks the first R-rated Marvel picture from Sony.
Why do you think that is? Why is it that this movie, they're like, yeah, go ahead and make it R?
Because the other ones flopped, and they're like, you know what, we gotta fucking...
Venom was successful, though. It was Morbius that flopped.
Wasn't the second Venom not too successful?
Well, remember, Venom 2 opened, like, still during, like, the pandemic, kinda, like, when we were recovering from it, but it was the biggest, it was one of the biggest successes post-pandemic before No Way Home. It actually did pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, 506 box office. Yeah, it did pretty good.
Not as good as the first one, but under the circumstances, it did very well.
Maybe they're like, hey, one of the criticisms of Venom 2 was that it wasn't R-rated. Maybe they're like, fuck it.
Same with Morbius, too. I mean, like, yeah, that's a villain movie. Why don't we try it? But you know what's going to suck, though, Tony? If this movie doesn't do well now, they're going to be like, see, R-rated doesn't work, so we got to keep it PG-13 and make them goody-goody guys. So
Maybe. But I think the movie's going to be... It looks good.
It looks okay. I mean, I will say this looks like... Because here's the thing with all these Sony movies. They all feel like they're like 2000 superhero movies. They have like that kind of charm to them in a way, where they all feel like they're very dated. This one at least looks like a fun 2000s era comic book movie.
Jamie C says you could smuggle most things into prison. Yeah, they
didn't show it.
They smuggle his whole...
But he's from another universe. He's teleported and faded in. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Either way, I'll probably go and see this. I didn't see Morbius, but you know what, Tony? Just for you, I will try and watch Morbius on Netflix, because it's on Netflix.
Well, see, there you go. You watch Morbius, and I'll watch the Spider-Verse movie.
Okay. I'll watch Morbius before Kraven, even if it's bad.
Yeah. Also, Sony confirmed they did not call Kevin Feige for this post-credit scene, which is stupid.
Well, I think that's why when Spider-Verse 2 crossed, like they had like a bunch of scenes kind of explaining how the multiverse works. That way it could kind of explain why Sony kind of messed things up. So it makes more sense.
They're like, those guys are...
Because they literally had a scene, Tony, in Spider-Verse. They're like, yeah, villains keep popping over, and we're trying to fix that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's to explain the whole Vulture thing. So that way they can fix it. That's my guess. Like, they're trying to like make the Sony thing make more sense for the MCU, too.
Apparently someone smuggled the suit parts into prison, but he gets free if you watch the whole scene.
Yeah.
They literally go, some guy showed up in prison.
We have no clue who he is. He's not supposed to be here.
So we just let him out.
We have no clue who he is, but go ahead and go.
Yeah.
But I'll watch this. It looks okay. I mean, listen, the fact that it's rated R and has like some really brutal action scenes means I kind of like it'll be more entertaining to watch. There'll be some nice gruesome kills. So it's like, yeah, why not? Sure.
I'm a Marvel simp. I was going to watch it anyway. The trailer looked good. I thought it looked decent. I am worried about the Rhino.
Yeah, that's the one part worrying me too. Like, if he looks like Amazing Spider-Man, the video game Rhino, that's okay with me. But if he looks like really stupid and doesn't even look like a hulky monster, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They want to do the whole thing. Oh, he injects himself with a formula that turns him into a rhino. Because I know what they're doing. It's like, oh, you got your powers from a lion? Well, I get my powers from a rhino. It's like, okay, whatever. Just make him look good, like an actual rhino monster. At least I can have some fun with that.
Yeah, but that worries me because the trailer is really implying that Russell Crowe's the main bad guy, right?
Yeah, his dad is most likely the main villain. So I think Rhino is probably his henchman.
Yeah, so it feels like you're going to get Rhino and then he's going to get like beaten and then that's it.
Well, they'll probably save Rhino if they want to make a universe. They'll probably save Rhino for later.
He'll show up next to the Vulture.
It's like, hey, Rhino, I know you got beat pretty bad. Want to join our team? Okay.
Want to join the League of Losers?
Hey, Kraven, you want to join our team? Oh, no, actually, Kraven's going to be hunting probably Venom. Well, the rumor I heard was that they want to, the next, like, the Kraven post-credits scene would be, like, a scene of, like, him learning about Venom or Morbius and wanting to hunt both of them. So that's probably what's going to be. He's going to be wanting to hunt Venom.
Samir says saving Rhino for the second trailer reveal? Probably.
Most likely, yeah. Probably close. Well, will they show this again at Comic-Con? Or are they wait closer to October?
Maybe closer to October. It's Sony, so you never know. What I'm also worried about is the brother. What are they going to do with that?
Yeah. Well, isn't the brother supposed to be Chameleon?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So maybe they'll set him up at the end of the movie to be the Chameleon for a sequel, maybe. Because Chameleon's a really cool character. I hope they don't waste him.
Also, but like what's weird is they're doing this whole thing with the mom going away, yada yada yada, and in the comics it's the brother that has the different mother and like he was raised outside of the Kravinoff family. That's why he has a different last name. So why would people see Kraven the Hunter when Morbius flop?
Because the Kraven trailer actually looks a lot better than the Morbius trailers did. Plus, I think the fact that it is rated R and it's going to be very violent and have a lot of action, that might entice people to come and watch it. Because Morbius just looked bad and generic from the start. This at least has an edginess to it that might be like, oh, an R-rated Marvel movie? Okay.
Plus, it doesn't look connected to anything, right?
Not yet, at least. They're not shoving it. Like, remember in the Morbius trailers, they kept showing Michael Keaton, they kept showing Venom stuff. It's like, that's when you knew it was bad, if they're putting the Easter eggs and the cameos in the trailer. Like, that's how you know it's bad. This didn't have that, so.
Yeah, I remember that. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler had said that during early development of the film, he was considering having the villainous Kraven the Hunter. He was trying to.
Yeah, there was a point. Yeah, there was a point where, well, I remember, because he was talking about it, he said that Marvel was going to try and negotiate with Sony to get the rights, like, to use Kraven for that movie, so they could use him. But obviously they said no, so they couldn't do it.
A general audience already forgotten about Morbius. They'll flock to Kraven, especially bloody murder-loving conservatives like Tony. Hell yeah, we will. We're hunters. We're like,
what is being conservative to do by loving murder? Well, actually, don't answer that.
I think people are going to go see it. It looks good. It looked like a fun time.
What else is coming out in October? Pretty much nothing, right?
Yeah.
Let me look it up real quick. October 2023 movie releases. Oh, yeah, okay. So for October, let's take a look. Look at the first thing I see. So for October, we got Kraven the Hunter, Killers of the Flower Moon, which is the new Scorsese movie, the new Exorcist movie, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, that's
and Saw 10. That's it. So basically a bunch of horror movies and like...
There's another Saw movie coming out?
It says in this movie website called Movie Insider. But maybe it's next year. The only movies I know for sure are Five Nights at Freddy's and Kraven. I don't know if anything else is coming out.
No, it's set to be released October 27th.
I haven't seen anything of it, though. So Five Nights at Freddy's and Saw are going to go head-to-head?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but Saw is like rated R. It's hardcore. Whereas Five Nights at Freddy's is probably...
It might be R.
I don't think it's going to be R.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Why? They're gonna try and get the kids?
Yeah.
Oops, my bad.
I 100%. There's no way Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That's why it's gonna fail. It's gonna fail because they're gonna try to make it too kiddie for the kids and then too adult for the adults. It's gonna be in a weird area.
I hope not. I liked the trailer, the teaser that we got. It looked interesting. I liked it. Because actually, that movie, like, I watched the trailer. I'm like, what is Five? Like, because I've heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, but I didn't know there's like so much story and lore in the game.
Oh my god, there's so much fucking lore.
Like, there's like so much story that's like underneath the surface that if you don't like, you know.
Yeah, it's about like child kidnapping and murder and
Yeah,
ghosts.
it's really demented. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this though before we move on from the Kraven topic. You know how Morbius became a meme at like the box office and everyone making fun of Morbius? You think Kraven will get the same? Yeah, I think Kraven will get the same meme treatment.
Nah, it doesn't look like it's got any real meme potential. Unless he's like, it's Kraven time. You know? I don't think it's gonna happen.
Or it's like, I'm Kraven, a hunt.
They should put that in the trailer.
I will say though, did you see the poster?
No.
Yeah, we haven't seen the poster. I will say the poster is awesome. I love the poster for this movie. Like that's, I will say, even if the movie is crappy, the poster looks legit. Like I really like the poster. I'm pulling it up right now.
What is it? Him?
It's like the classic pose from the comics with him in the full suit.
But how's he gonna be in the suit
Share my screen.
when?
That's the poster. I really like this. Yeah, it looks pretty badass. Like I like this poster. He's wearing the costume. He's on the throne. The skull's behind him. It's a great poster.
It's a great poster, but not for a Kraven movie.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's a great poster for like Spider-Man, like where they, you know how they have the poster with like all the villains,
like the character posters. Yeah.
It'd be like Kraven the Hunter in Spider-Man versus Sinister Six. You know.
Yeah, I can see that, but I mean, this like if I saw this poster as like a comic book, like as a comic book fan who likes Kraven, like this is perfect. Like this is the image of Kraven I want to see.
It's like Hero sitting on a throne, a la Black Panther.
Yeah, but the Black Panther poster looked like crap compared to this.
Looks like a comic cover.
That's why I like it. That's why I like it. Like even if the movie's crap, at least I have this one poster. It looks pretty cool.
At least they have this one poster.
That's the kind of poster I hang up on a wall. You know.
I don't hang posters on the wall. My parents would beat me as a kid for doing that shit. So.
Ouch.
No, I mean, like my mom was like really like, don't put nothing on the wall. You're gonna get the like you put tape on the wall. It's gonna take the paint off, and they're like really. So I've never been into the habit of hanging posters.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna make the El Muerto movie? You're thinking that's not gonna happen?
That's probably not gonna happen.
What about the Hypno Disco movie?
That's still gonna happen. Donald Glover's still hot, so.
Why don't they just make a Prowler movie? Why make a Hypno Disco movie?
Because that's what he wanted. The Hypno Hustler.
Hypno Hustler. Thank you.
That's what he wanted to make. He pitched it.
Donald, why? Just make a Prowler movie.
Maybe he's going to do both. Maybe he's like, fuck it, I can get this other one made. Go.
Is it main event time?
All right, it's main event time. Box office. Ezra Miller's The Flash, Pixar's Elemental, gets iced by moviegoers. Man, all that woke agenda. Woke.
Not in The Flash, though. I haven't seen Elemental yet, though.
Arg. Such was the refrain across Hollywood as opening weekend estimates circulated for DC's highly anticipated The Flash and Pixar's Elemental, which are debuting domestically over the long Juneteenth holiday weekend, as well as Father's Day on Sunday. I am pissed. I don't get Juneteenth off. I had to work today.
Really? That's shocking. My entire family had today off, which is nice.
No, I don't. It's only like federal employees that get it off.
Oh, that makes sense because my parents both work at a hospital. So,
starring Ezra Miller in the titular role, Warner Brothers and the DC's The Flash is anything but flashy in the opinion of moviegoers. The film earned an estimated $55.7 million for the 3 days and projected $64.2 million for the 4 days. Notably behind expectations. Final numbers will be tallied Tuesday. Go ahead.
Okay, stop right there. It's not even notably behind expectations. Tony, do you know where they projected this movie at originally? Way back, like 3 weeks ago? Originally, it was as high as 125. Then it was 80. And then now it officially opened under 60. That's really bad. Like, really bad. Like, that's the kind of thing that's just like legendary failure. like legendary status.
Is even 125 good? Why that seems like
What-
low for.
Well, for this movie, 125, like they wanted. Okay, so based on what I was reading, I think it was Deadline or Hollywood Reporter. They were saying that the studio was hoping for at least upwards of 100 million box office opening, and they were hoping that in total, with the word of mouth and overseas, it would make as much as the Batman did, which is 770. That's not happening at all. It's not going to get close to like 500.
No, but the way they were like, oh my god, it's the greatest superhero movie. I was like, 125 sounds like low for like the greatest.
Well, they were
movie ever.
they were hoping for the word of mouth. They wanted it to have they wanted it to play all through the summer. They wanted it to basically be the new Top Gun Maverick, where it played through the whole summer into like Labor Day. That's what they wanted, but it's not what they got.
Crazy how two big budgeted movies flopped in the same damn weekend. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because no one's talking about Elemental because everyone's focused on how bad The Flash did. So Elemental's like, hey, we did horrible too, but at least no one's talking about us.
But that movie just kind of like there really wasn't a lot of fanfare. It was like, hey, Elemental's coming out. Like, what's that? Like, oh, it's about elements, and then that was like really it.
Yeah, well, because here's the thing, Tony. It's very easy to explain why Elemental didn't do well. Whereas The Flash, it's like, what the hell happened? Elemental, it's like, well, we'll get to it. But with Elemental, it's like, oh yeah, it's an original movie. Plus two, like Pixar movies have been on streaming for so long. Their last movie didn't do well. So it makes sense that their next movie, which is original, doesn't have any like big IP to fall on. People are just going to wait for streaming, especially in a busy month of June. You know, it's sad. I wish people would support original films, but it is what it is. I mean, most people are going to watch it on streaming. I'm sure it's going to do well. The audience scores for Elemental were very high. Got an A cinema score compared to Flash, which had a horrible cinema score at a B. So
how is B horrible?
Okay, so to explain it, so cinema score, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but basically with cinema score, studios in the industry, because cinema score, the moviegoers tend to give everything A's and A pluses, right? So if you get a B plus, you're like, it's not great. B minus or B, very bad. It means that the audience did not like your movie.
What's the lowest possible rating you can get on that?
As low as an F, but most movies don't get an F. I think only like 5 movies have gotten like an F cinema score. But
so it's it's like a standing ovation at Cannes. Like everybody gets that 5-minute minimum.
Basically, as long as you get an A, you're in the clear. If you get a B plus, it's kind of iffy, but you'll be okay. Anything B or below, like just normal B or B minus to less, is bad. Unless you're a horror movie, because most audiences hate horror movies. Like they always give horror movies bad scores. So if you have like a C plus for a horror movie, that's great. Like C plus or above, like a B plus, that's great. So it's weird. It's a weird system. But the reason the studios like it is because cinema score tells them what the word of mouth is from the audience. They can use that data to predict how good the legs of a movie are going to be. If you have a B cinema score, it's really bad because it means that the word of mouth is not strong. Like people did not come out of that movie liking it, so they're not going to go back and see it again or tell their friends.
Weird.
It's weird. A very weird system. I know.
No, I was gonna say it's weird because like this is the first time I'm hearing about fucking cinema scores. Like the Flash movie, I heard like everyone talking about it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it because cinema score has been a big deal. Like people were talking about it. Like people really look at it because like it's the only way we know for sure what the
I guess maybe the other movies just all been good, so like no one mentioned.
Well,
it.
typically these big blockbusters don't get anything lower than a B plus. I think Fast X got a B plus. I think Black Adam got a B plus. That's like kind of middle of the road. And like I said, B minus or B, you're in bad territory. That's not where Flash needed to be. Especially they're hyping up this movie to be like, audiences are gonna love it. Tom Cruise and Stephen King say it's a great time at the movies and why movies you should see movies in the theater. Or David Zaslav saying this is the best superhero movie I've ever seen. You know, so it's like no, it's not what they wanted.
Yeah. All right, let's see. The hope had been for the Flash to get a 3-day start of at least 70 million. So as to come in ahead of such disappointing DC titles as Black Adam, which collected 67 million in its first 3 days. Overseas, the superhero tentpole also faced challenges. It opened to 72 million from 79 markets, including a dismal 13.8 million in China, for a global opening north of 130 million.
See,
for Sunday.
This is what they don't put in the context for, Tony. Black Adam did not open in China. So Black Adam, it did worse than Black Adam, even with China. That's even worse.
China.
Yeah.
The studio's leadership has been hyping The Flash for months, with Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav proclaiming it as the greatest superhero movie he's ever seen. Many critics don't agree with the assessment. The pick currently has a 67% tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes. A bigger problem, audiences gave the movie a mediocre B cinema score. As a way of comparison, Elemental received an A. While superhero fare often skews heavily male, The Flash is even more so than usual at 70%.
And that's crazy because they looked at the box office demos for this. For instance, Black Adam had a 51% female, 49% male. Like, typically you want the 50-50 split because that means more people are going to see your movie. 70% male means like they didn't get the young. Because if you look at the box office demos, Tony, The Flash didn't attract the women and it didn't attract the younger people. It was mostly older males who went to go see this, like about like the 20 to 40 range. They didn't get the 30 to 40 range, 30 to 50. They didn't get the 18 to 25 market, which typically spends the most on movies at all.
It makes sense though. I mean, Ezra Miller was out there chokeslamming women. I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't want to support him.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't have women and young people showing up to a movie, you're not going to make a lot of money because you have to get everybody.
Joshua Perez, you don't know how wrong you are. You don't know how wrong you are. Can we go into... we're going to go into a little bit of spoilers right now, I think. Because I think everybody has been misconstruing what is going on in the Flash movie. Right? I don't think he ends up in George Clooney's universe. George Clooney shows up at the end as Batman.
Yeah, because if we're talking spoilers, basically what happens is Barry tries to have his cake and eat it too, where it's like, well, I can't save my mom, but I can change the order of the tomato can, so my dad looks up at the security camera and he gets acquitted from the crime of murdering the mom, which he never did. But by changing that, it like the movie basically says even the slightest change means you could change something. So the only person seemingly who was changed was Batman, because Batman doesn't look like Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton. Now he looks like George Clooney.
Yeah, I think the movie was
post-credit scene. They kind of say, "Well, I changed something. It's not like Batman's the same person, but he looks different."
Yeah. So I think the movie, people are thinking, oh, he went to the Michael Keaton universe. He's not in.
No,
Batman
it's not
89.
He's not in 89. It's just that he looks like 89 Batman. Yeah. He's older.
So basically, everything that happened in the Justice League and all that, that's still, like, for Batman's history is more or less canon, except for it's Michael Keaton instead of Ben Affleck, right?
Well, not in that universe, though, because in that universe, he messed it up so bad that none of the Justice League ever met.
Well, I said the Batman stuff, like, basically all the pre-Justice League Batman shit.
Oh, like before Zod came to Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he's still Batman, right? Like,
yeah, Batman was still existing in the DCU before Zod came, yeah.
And then afterward, when he tries to fix everything but screws it up, so then it's Clooney, but it's supposed to be Clooney
who's playing the role of Ben Affleck. Yeah.
It's still the Ben Affleck Batman, but now it's just Clooney being
he looks
Ben
like
Affleck.
George Clooney, yeah. It's very confusing when you think about it. I think it kind of confused people.
I think because DC wanted their cake and eat it too. They wanted to they heavily implied that, oh, he's in a different universe, and he's in the Michael Keaton universe.
They wanted a fun cameo too to end the movie on, to be like, oh, he's not back home, you know. But
if you watch the movie, because the way he changes things and the way he keeps going back in time, it's the same universe.
I think the issue too, this is my personal theory, I can't confirm this, but to me, Tony, the reason I think the movie got a B cinema score was for two reasons. One, I think the CGI did turn people off.
But it was on purpose.
Well, yeah, it wasn't. Like during the Chromodome scene with like the cameos and the going back in time part, yes, that was definitely a stylistic choice. The babies and like the third act CGI, no, that was not intentional. It just didn't look very good. The other reason, though, besides poor CGI, is I think the ending kind of turned people off. Like, yeah, people laughed at the post-credit scene, but they're like, I have no clue what's going on. Like, is this the reboot? Are we in the reboot now? Like, what's going on? And I'm sorry, but the post-credit scene with Aquaman disappointed a lot of people.
Well, I think it's all stupid. It's
no, because Tony, like, I went to go see it on Father's Day, and people were watching the post-credit scene when it ended. Like, that's it? Really? We wait all this time for that? Because it wasn't a good post-credit scene. It was kind of stupid.
Well, the whole movie's stupid. You know what? We're gonna go full spoilers. Aquaman and Wonder Woman still exist. right?
Well, no, not in that universe, because Arthur's a dog in the universe of Sasha Kai and Batman.
Arthur can't be a dog, right? Like Wonder Woman has to exist.
Wonder Woman exists but never left Themyscira. Aquaman, Aquaman's dad never met his mom, and therefore Arthur was never born. Because remember, she had a baby with them.
But what I'm saying is they still technically, when I say exist, right, like they can still happen. He knows how they happen, right? He knows how they happen, right?
Or you're saying there should be an equivalent, like just like there's no Superman, but there's a Supergirl. There should be at least some kind of Wonder Person, some kind of Aquaman character.
And if there isn't, like when Flash goes back in time, right? He's like, we can't beat Zod. I got to figure out how to beat Zod, right? Like, why doesn't he just run over to fucking Themyscira, grab Wonder Woman, and she's not just gonna be like, oh, sorry, I can't fight.
She tried looking her up, and like I guess he saw that she didn't exist. Like her and Aquaman didn't exist, which I don't know. They probably just didn't want to pay Gal Gadot for the cameo, Tony. Okay.
Well, even if Wonder Woman doesn't exist, right? Like you said, there's an equivalent. Like, go get all the Amazon. He could have just rounded up all the Amazons, dropped them off at the battle.
Oh, would they want to be in Man's world to help Man?
Who cares? Like, if you just got dropped off and you saw people shooting, you'd fight, right? They go, no, sorry, Zod, we don't belong here. We're gonna go back to Themyscira. Continue blowing up shit.
Does Flash know how to get to Themyscira?
He can run at the speed of light. He can run at the speed of light. He'll eventually find it if he just circles the globe fast enough, right?
What if it's magic, though, and you need magic to get in?
You need magic. He's got the Speed Force. Isn't that magic?
Yeah, it's science. Science and magic are one of the same in a way. I don't know. It is what it is. But clearly the ending, I think, was heavily toyed around with. The Hollywood Reporter talked about this, too. Because in the movie, Sasha Kai, Supergirl, and Michael Keaton's Batman die. Yeah. And that's it for them. They don't come back. Originally, in the original ending, you were supposed to see Sasha and Michael Keaton in the new universe that Barry was in after the tomato can thing. To kind of give them some resolution, like, oh, they died, but they're back. Like, they're here.
Well, they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, they're gone. They're not coming. Like,
well, I'm saying
that timeline got erased, basically.
Yeah, well, Sasha Kai, they don't really say, but I would assume that everything was the same except for because Aquaman kind of remembers what happened, right?
No. That Aquaman is the same as the DCEU Aquaman. He's just like, what happened? Like, because Barry's trying to explain to him, this is not the universe that we're supposed to be in. And Aquaman's like, what? And he tries to explain to Aquaman in the post-credits scene, like, yeah, I went back and, like, things are kind of the same, but for some reason, Batman's different. Like, he's the same person, but, like, he looks different in these timelines.
But I'm saying, like, that Aquaman still had the Justice League experience, right?
Yes, it's just that...
He knows who Barry Allen is, right?
Yeah, my guess, though, is that...
So then Superman has to exist. That's what I was going for. Like, we're back to Superman landing on Earth and not Supergirl, right? That's why Sasha Calle doesn't exist, because in the original version, she didn't exist in the original Justice League, right? She never came to Earth. He did.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm saying, like, if the only thing that's changed is George Clooney instead of Ben Affleck, right? Then everything else had to have happened. The Justice League movie, all the other shit happened in that universe, except for that one thing. Like, it was just George Clooney fighting instead of Ben Affleck with them, right? I would assume.
Sorry, can you repeat that? So I understand what you're saying.
I would assume that at the end of The Flash, the way it is shot, the way it is now, not like speculative or what.
Yeah, the actual movie that we got. Yeah,
the actual movie we got. The implication is that the only thing that has changed is Ben Affleck now looks like George Clooney.
Yes,
which means that Justice League happened and everything. Those movies all happened like they were supposed to.
But it's George Clooney.
But it's George Clooney.
That's the way it's implied, but they don't explain it.
So again, that's why Sasha Calle wouldn't exist there, because she doesn't exist in the Justice League movie.
Right, yeah.
So Henry Cavill should still exist, Gal Gadot and all that.
But they just don't show him.
Yeah.
I mean, again, theoretically they should, but we don't know. The movie kind of ends with like Barry being like, "Uh-oh, I didn't actually fix things. I'm not back where I need to be." So, I don't know. Again, the ending leaves things more confusing than not. I think they'll leave it open-ended, or it's like, well, whatever. We're not coming back to this anyway.
I think they should have just been really fun with it, and since they had like George Clooney show up, they should have had like what's his name? Nicolas Cage, like all the like weird
Oh,
people.
and like Chris O'Donnell comes
Yeah.
out and freaking in the suit. I tell you, man, if Batman would have showed up in the Bat Nipple suit, it was the George Clooney role where he walks out the courthouse, would have been the greatest ending ever. Just like, yep, that's where we end things.
I was telling my dad they should just really went for it, and at the end, instead of George Clooney, it should have been fucking Adam West. Just fucking CGI Adam West into it. Fucking Linda Carter as Wonder Woman.
No. I think George Clooney was better. That's, I don't know. The whole thing was just weird.
Because, I mean, George Clooney, people are still like, oh, it's possible. But, like, if you had, like, Adam West, they'd be like, oh, yeah, obviously this is some kind of joke.
James Gunn did confirm on Blue Sky, of all places. He was tweeting over on Blue Sky, the new social media platform, that Batman is Bruce Wayne, and he has not been cast yet. So he basically debunked the whole George Clooney thing. He's not going to be George Clooney, which everyone kind of should have figured, but they made it clear now.
And also debunked the Dick Grayson thing.
Yeah.
Or he's lying, like he always does, right?
Does he lie, though?
I heard that James Gunn does nothing but lie on Twitter.
Who said that?
Mad Max.
Oh, wow. Well, he's live right now, so I mean, if you want to hear someone ranting about lies, go over there, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we all know that with the Flash failure, this was planned months in advance. Zack Snyder is definitely coming back now.
Yeah.
This was all done.
The Snyderverse is definitely continuing now, guys, now that all of his actors, like this big movie with all of his actors has failed.
No. This movie, like, they knew that he was going to go do Rebel Moon and that James Gunn was going to take over. So a secret plan hatched between Zack Snyder and Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller chokeslammed a bunch of women because Zack Snyder's like, we need controversy to tank this movie. Your movie's so good that...
So he planned these, like, Ezra, we need you to go on a rampage to get the movie canceled. That way it'll flop.
He just looked at him. He goes, Ezra, do you know what to do? Go, my son. And then Ezra Miller did it.
Let me ask you seriously, because we're getting into it with the box office talk. Like, why do you think this movie failed personally? Because I want your take on this, Tony. I've gone on to death about it. I think it's I think it's multiple reasons. I think it's the Ezra Miller controversy. I think it's the DC reboot. I think it's just people just didn't like the movie. I think it's also general DC brand fatigue. I really do. I think it's just people are just like, they don't trust the DC brand. They don't trust it as like a brand of quality. So those are mine, like 4 or 5 reasons. I think it was like a death by 1,000 cuts for multiple reasons. But you, what do you think?
I think 100% it was the Ezra Miller stuff. Andy Muschietti.
Do you think it's the only reason?
Well, I think it's the Ezra Miller stuff, but also when Andy Muschietti came out and said, this movie's so good that if there's a sequel, we're keeping Ezra Miller. I think that was the nail in the coffin. Because some people would have been like, yeah, I'll go see the movie, whatever, right? But they're like, oh, if I go see this movie and it'll be good and it'll make a sequel, they're going to bring his ass back? Like, no. Because people didn't want to remember. Fucking, what the hell's his name? Campia went on that rampage. They better not bring fucking Ezra Miller back, you fucking morons. If you like, he was so pissed, right? That just the idea of bringing Ezra Miller back. And I think a lot of people are in that boat, right? Like, well, I would have seen the movie, but knowing that seeing the movie would have caused the sequel and then Ezra Miller comes back, no.
Well, I heard too, wasn't there a costume designer who said the movie's so good it'll make you forget about Ezra? And people were really mad about that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know though, because like a lot of people have been telling me for the last year that it doesn't matter because general audience doesn't know who Ezra Miller is. They don't care. They don't.
That's bullshit. Online. General audiences? You think general audiences don't fucking watch Entertainment Tonight and they go, Entertainment Tonight, Ezra Miller is fucking chokeslamming bitches in Hawaii, right? Like, but the idea that you think these people are.
What was communicated to me is that they don't know Ezra Miller. Like they don't associate his name with the Flash. They don't know Ezra Miller's the Flash. Like when they see the Flash trailer, they're like, "That's the guy from Hawaii."
Yeah, they do because 100%. All those reports, they're like, "This just in from Hawaii: Ezra Miller, star of the upcoming Flash movie, just chokeslammed the bitch." Like, dude, people are so disconnected to like what the average person watches and reads on TV, right? 100%. Like my mom knows who the fuck Ezra Miller is, and he was out there chokeslamming people, right? So the idea that Entertainment Tonight, yeah, it's still on. Entertainment Tonight, all those shows are still on. Maybe for like younger people, right? Like for like the 18-year-old crowd, they might not. But they're so online that they probably know who the fuck Ezra Miller is from that. And the older people are watching all these reports about like this guy chokeslamming. So 100% they knew who the fuck he was. The idea that like he's some unknown, like they were just gonna slip this by, like dude has had controversy after controversy after controversy. It's in the mainstream. Like they did not contain this. This was not contained at all. Ezra Miller. It's too woke. It got a female Superman. That too. Don't forget that. Samir's right. I mean, word of mouth wasn't that great on it either, right?
It got a B cinema score. Like the audience score started off at like 95%, but I think last I looked it fell at like 85%. So it fell down like 10%.
So I would say it was like 70% Ezra Miller, and then like 30% the movie just isn't that good. Them giving it away free and letting people come in, I think, was a detriment.
Way too many early screenings. I agree. Way too many.
Everything was spoiled. All the cameos were already out there. Everybody knew. And then when you find out that, wait a minute, this isn't exactly like... People wanted the 89 Batman. They thought they were getting 89 Batman universe, right? They're like, oh, this is not actually the 89 universe. Sort of, but not really. Like, he says a couple lines. He says the line, but that's about it. It's like... Then to see, like, no one wants to go see fucking Michael Keaton getting killed.
Well, that's my crazy thing, Tony. I really thought Michael Keaton would have moved the needle to bring people in, but he didn't. That's what blows me away the most. I really thought with like because they spent so much money on marketing, so much money. Like they are pushing this movie like crazy, and I really thought Michael Keaton especially would have sold the movie for people.
Well, it would have. It would have until they let a bunch of people watch, and they're like, "Oh, Michael Keaton's barely in it, right?"
He shows up at about the halfway point of the movie.
Yeah, but he's shows up at the halfway point, but actual screen time for Michael Keaton is not that much.
Well, yeah, it is still Ezra Miller's movie. Yeah, it's all he's in every scene. Yeah,
yeah, but they marketed it as like remember people were making fun of like, oh, this is not Flashpoint, this is Batman Point, right? Like fucking, it's the Batman movie. He's in all the marketing, and then when you come to find out, oh, he's really not in that much, people are like, oh, I don't want to go see that now. Joshua Perez says they should just make a short film with Keaton and Supergirl scenes. People will buy that. Samir says, I'm really surprised at his performance. The 100 million plus early tracking fooled me. I think that was a lie. I think that was fake. Studio manipulation.
Yeah.
Hey, Joshua Perez says Keaton is like in 15 minutes in the film.
Yeah, I didn't count it, but it's probably like about like 15 to 20, I'd say, yeah.
And they heavily, like, they pretty much gave you, like, 7 of those minutes in the fucking trailers, right?
Yeah, they showed a lot. They showed too much.
And again, I never thought Ezra Miller was... I think a lot of people were, like, blinded by the Snyder, right? Because they love the Snyderverse and they love the Snyder cut and all that, and... I think general audiences were already put off by Ezra Miller as the Flash. Like, again, when I watched Justice League, I didn't think Ezra Miller was good as the Flash. I was like, this is not the Flash. And then a lot of people are conditioned of watching Grant Gustin version of the Flash. He had 9 seasons of that shit.
Well, yeah, because like they announced this movie right before the show premiered, and it didn't come out till the show was over.
Yeah.
So like that's ridiculous too. I don't know though. Like this is probably going to be the biggest bomb of the year. Well, actually no, Shazam 2 was. I think just DC bombs in general are going to be like the biggest bombs of the year. I don't think Blue Beetle is going to do well. I don't think Aquaman 2 is going to do well. I think all of this is going to collapse, man. Like it's just a dead year for DC.
All right, but according to the Mirror, Ezra Miller backlash blamed as the Flash bombs at the box office. Fans had vowed not to watch The Flash after the film was complete with Ezra Miller in the leading role despite multiple arrests and allegations of abuse. And now the facts seem to suggest fans have stayed true to their word, despite Saggy Mellon saying this is not true. Saggy was very adamant. She's like, oh my God, everybody online who said they weren't going to see it, they went and seen it. I'm like, no shit. Everybody who's fucking, does YouTube or does this shit, right? They all go see it, right? They say, I'm not going to go see that, and they go see it anyway. So you can't take anybody who is an online pundit says they're not going to see something, fuck you. You know you're not gonna skip on one of the biggest things that's happening, right?
Yeah, no, I get that.
That wasn't Jay Garrick though.
No, that was a CGI recreation. Like the actor
but that's not Jay Garrick either way.
Yeah, it's like well, did you hear what they actually did? So the rumor is because they like it's meant to look like an actor, Teddy Sears, but he wasn't actually Jay Garrick. He was Zoo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the thing is, Tony, did you hear that they didn't even like get in contact with the actor? They used like an AI to CGI that shit.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, they used an AI to CGI that, and they just put in Jay Garrick, and that's what the AI picked. I kid you not.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That was very weirdly conceived. And why was that Jay Garrick in the George Reeve universe?
No idea. Who knows? They did a lot of stupid stuff, like having the fucking Christopher Reeves CGI.
Yeah, that was weird. It looked like, I said it before, like as soon as I saw it, I was like, dude, this looks like Injustice, like an Injustice character ending, you know, that the artwork over the voiceover. That's what it looked like. It was like a character ending from Injustice.
I remember when people were talking about cameos, I said, "Oh, they're gonna have fucking Christopher Reeves." Like, oh no, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, they're gonna CGI his ass. He's gonna be in the movie."
Yeah, it wasn't great. That the entire, I kid you not, when I saw the movie on Father's Day, like about like 50% full theater, nobody clapped or like cheered during any of the cameos. There was just pure silence, Nobody reacted. It was very awkward. Because like the movie like does like these long pauses, with the overdramatic music, nobody reacted.
They're like, why is it paused? Why is the movie slowed down?
No, it's more like, why do they look like that?
What's wrong with his face?
Even the Nicolas Cage thing, like my dad and I were just looking at each other like, yeah, this is happening. I mean, it was funny. The Nicolas Cage thing was funny. I'm just like, people don't know what that is. They don't get it.
That's such an inside joke that like two people.
It is. It's like a super inside joke.
The Flash has run straight into trouble as it failed to meet financial expectation and is on track to be a box office bomb, with controversial star Ezra Miller already being singled out as the cause of the failure. The superhero film sees Ezra reprising the role as Barry Allen in the DC film, with Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton making much hyped returns to the comic book franchise to reprise their role as Batman. You know what else didn't help? When was it Michael Shannon started like doing interviews going, "Fucking Zod movie sucks. Fucking why am I playing Zod?"
That interview was so weird because he basically said like, yeah, you know, I didn't really get into the character. I wasn't really there to like tell a story. It was just more like for action figures to smash against each other. I'm just like, but I had a good time. It was a good paycheck. I'm like, okay.
It's like, okay, Michael Shannon. Thanks for
and you know the funny thing is too, every time he did an interview, all he was talking about was like, oh man, Man of Steel was so great. I loved working with Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, man, he's a great guy. How about the Flash? Yeah, it was okay. It was action figures playing against each other. I had a good time. It was a nice paycheck. Like,
so the best was like I went and I talked to Zack. I was like, Zack, is it okay if I come back as Zod? Do you give me your blessings? Like, don't worry, son. You may be Zod once more. So I did it with Zack's place. I'm like, dude, Zack doesn't even own the fucking character. He did great Zod. Like, what?
Well, it's because he's just like, he didn't want to diss what Zack was doing. But I think what Zack probably told him is like, dude, get the check. Just get the check and make the money.
But he wanted this one, like, again, it's not. People are like giving fucking Zack Snyder way too much credit. Like,
it tends to happen.
The movie has received a huge amount of hype in the weeks leading up to release, with some claiming the film is the greatest superhero film ever made. A box office projection suggesting it would make at least $70 million over the weekend. However, it has failed to meet expectations at the box office. Blah, blah, blah. We already know that. Come on, get to the Ezra Miller shit. The troubled actor sparked huge controversy in recent years due to a string of legal troubles, including arrests for disorderly conduct and various harassment allegations. TMZ has pointed a finger of blame at Ezra's troubles, writing, "Some might attribute the low box office performance to Ezra themselves, who's been mired in controversies for about 2 years now. It might also be the lack of traditional press run the studio opted for. There were hardly any interviews in the lead-up." I don't think that matters in today's day and age.
I don't know. I don't know, because I do think that getting it, like, if you want to get a movie out to the normies, being on the late night TV stuff and like the YouTube, like the YouTube channels, like the hot ones doing interviews or SNL, people do pay it. Like, not us, but the normies do pay attention to that because they do use that for promotion. I think it did hurt a little bit, but it's not the main reason. Like I said, I think it's one of the reasons, but not the main one.
The Hollywood Reporter has made a similar suggestion, writing, box office pundits are divided as to whether Ezra Miller's off-screen woes are impacting the film's performance. Miller was arrested multiple times in 2022 and was the subject of several controversies, culminating in the actor issuing a statement in August of last year apologizing for their behavior. Miller walked the red carpet at the movie's premiere, but has otherwise been absent from doing publicity for The Flash. Again, I think if Muschietti wouldn't have came out and said he's staying as The Flash, I think that put off a lot of people.
Maybe.
Because I know, like myself, I was like, oh yeah, because everyone was convinced, right? He's done. He's fucking done. Like, it doesn't matter how good the movie does. He's done. And then Muschietti's like, no, we'll bring him back. Like, oh, okay. If that's the case, like, fuck this movie. The issues facing Ezra were charges of harassment and burglary, as well as accusations of assault and abuse. What about all the grooming accusations? And the weird sex cult?
You know, there's a lot of things that happened.
It's kidnapping a little Native American girl. The actor said last August, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I'm suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I've alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to that healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. And we all believe that. Many fans vowed to boycott The Flash due to Ezra's misdemeanors. One cinema fan wrote on Twitter, I'm honestly not even going to hate watch The Flash. They handled the controversy with Ezra Miller's persistent criminal activity very poorly. And there's worse that has been heard now about the movie. They deserve none of my money, and I encourage others to boycott The Flash. And they did. They did.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's a disaster.
I think another thing that maybe hurt the movie was, and again, spoiler alert, but how the hell do you go back in time and not want to know who killed your mom?
Yeah, that was also annoying to me too. Like, you didn't even look to see who killed her. Which I know.
Where did the guy go?
Well, Andy said, like, oh, we didn't show that because that was going to be for the sequel. We're going to do Reverse Flash for the sequel. I'm like, could you at least tease it?
But where did he go?
Well, it was Reverse Flash, so you wouldn't.
But I'm saying, like, okay, so the implication, right, is that the mom goes to the store, forgets the tomatoes.
No, the dad goes to the store. The mom's left alone in the kitchen.
No, but the mom forgot the tomatoes. Remember, she goes to the store, comes back, says, hey, I forgot tomatoes. Then the dad goes to get the tomatoes.
Yeah, and then Barry's upstairs in his room all by himself. The mom's in the kitchen down by herself.
So then Reverse Flash, presumably Reverse Flash comes in and kills the mom, right?
Yeah, that's the implication,
okay.
Yes.
So, why didn't he kill the mom and the dad?
Timeline reasons, maybe because Barry had such a close connection to the mom. And he wanted the dad to be in prison so Barry would suffer the rest of his life trying to get him out.
But he's the Reverse Flash, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't he have still killed the mom with the dad home? He literally like could go like the speed of light, right? Like he could literally went in, stabbed the mom, left, and the dad would be like, "Why has she got a fucking knife in her chest now?" And then like she's dead, and the cops would be like, "Dude, you're the only one here, right?" Yeah. Like it would look even worse because at the very least in the original timeline, the dad's at the store and there's like reasonable doubt and like maybe, and they clean up footage and it's possibly the dad's at the store, right? If he just came in, stabbed the mom and left, the dad's at home and the dad never left, and like,
I don't know, Tony, this movie, no one's gonna care.
So he just looks in, he's like, oh fuck, Flash's dad's home, I can't kill his mom now.
Listen, no one's gonna, this movie ain't gonna matter like a month from now anyway, so whatever. It's a dead movie, it's dead in the water, who cares? I know. There's just things about it that just don't make sense. I know.
It's super, super annoying.
That is a good question, though. Do you think Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 will be bigger flops than The Flash?
What is the budget on Aquaman 2? I think Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2 is like at least like $300 million.
It's hard to say.
I think it's gonna flop. I think both these movies are gonna flop. To be honest,
Women love Jason Momoa though.
they do, but like, who's gonna?
You just show the thing like he coming out the water with fucking the hair and it's just dripping down. Women are just gonna go to the theater. Whereas Blue Beetle, I think
that's a very like smaller budget movie though. So
Yeah.
even if it doesn't make that much, it could maybe slightly make a profit.
so. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's gonna flop harder just because it has a shittier budget. As long as it makes a little money, like
It made something.
yeah,
Oh yeah, Aquaman 2 is the Amber Heard thing. I forgot about that.
Amber Turd. But I don't think people really give a shit.
Not yeah, maybe I don't know. Well, you said the same thing about people said the same thing about the Ezra thing, and
No,
here we
I
are.
didn't though. I said Ezra Miller mattered because he's the main.
No,
star.
I didn't say you. I said people said Ezra Miller didn't matter, and clearly it had a role.
Yeah, but those people were idiots. Apparently, those people were wrong, and I was correct. And then I am saying that Amber Heard doesn't matter because she's in such a small role.
Yeah, they've done their best to try and cut her out as much as possible.
And again, it's Aquaman, right? If it was like a Marina movie or whatever the hell.
Oh,
the
it's
name
like Aquaman and Queen Mara.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get
if
that.
it was like Queen Mara fucking movie, then it'd matter. But like Ezra Miller's the main star. You can't fucking cut him out. He's the main guy.
I don't know. There's
It would be
some
funny,
wild
though.
times we live in.
It would be funny if Blue Beetle went from being a made for HBO movie to a theater movie. Then they put it back on HBO.
I could see that happening. I really could. I could be like, you know what, guys, we're gonna revert back to our original decision. Sorry.
Because they already had like the fucking trailer and everything. They're like, oh, you know how we said it was gonna be a theater? Just like it's not.
It comes out the same day, but it'll be in theaters and Max. There you go.
Nah, I could see it just being on Max.
We'll see. I don't know.
But Aquaman 2, I think it's gonna make decent money. It's not gonna make what the
It's
first
not
one
gonna
made,
make $1 billion. That's
No.
for sure.
but I think it'll turn a small profit.
I hope so for the sake of DC. They need some. Literally, all the movies they released thus far, Shazam 2 and The Flash, have both bombed. So Blue Beetle and Aquaman bombed. That's like all their movies this year bombed.
Yeah, but it might actually be better if the movies bomb.
Maybe.
Because I mean, Ezra the Flash bombed, Black Adam bombed, right? If Aquaman bombs, maybe the studio will be like, see, this is a total, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Like the rejection. This is a total rejection of Snyderverse, right? Don't worry, because James Gunn's going to go in a totally different direction from what this other shit was that you didn't like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if Aquaman does good, now you're back into like, oh, well, maybe people want this sort of like fucking, Yeah, Shazam 2 did bomb. Is that?
Yeah.
Because right now we're at nothing. Like nothing that has had James Gunn real input on it, right?
I mean, with The Flash, he did tweak the ending. That was he did tweak the ending. That's like the major thing. Like he was the one who added George Clooney. He's like,
Yeah, but he might have tweaked it in the way that like, hey, whatever you're doing is fucking us up. We gotta like fix this.
just have it end with the funny cameo. Don't set anything up or have anything.
Yeah, I think that's basically all he did.
Yeah, most likely.
But again, like all of this is just like for James Gunn, this is all golden, right? Because again, he has had no hand in any of this, and he can point at it.
Well, if anything, it just makes it seem like the old DC was a disaster.
Yeah, he can point to go see this is my shit's different than this guy's. Just wait. It's coming.
But he did publicly come out and say that he supports this movie.
He has to though. He's not gonna shit. He's the fucking head of DC. Hey, this movie sucks. Don't go.
He didn't promote the Shazam 2 the same way. He didn't say Shazam 2 is one of the best comic movies ever made. He just said, "Hey, Shazam 2's out. Go see it." That's all he said about
Because
Shazam 2.
2 was like even worse. He's like, I can't even lie about this one. Yeah, but they put so much money in the Flash. They're like, dude, you have to go out there and like
I
really
can
sell
see
this
that.
shit.
Yeah. Hurts his credibility though a little bit though, just slightly. I don't think it's gonna matter in the long term, but
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
I see that.
But it is going to be interesting, like I said, going forward. When we get the first James Gunn,
Yeah, there's
Movie?
gonna be a lot of expectations. That movie has to deliver.
not only deliver, I wonder if he's going to tweak the end of Aquaman to really like, okay, We really
It's
have
over.
to shut the
It's
fucking door
over.
on this shit, right? Like, yeah.
Aquaman 2's post-credit scene, just the entire universe is blowing up. It just ends in a giant explosion. The Earth explodes.
It's gonna be a boom tube. It's gonna be like Aquaman's like, it's a good thing we saved the universe, and a boom tube, and then fucking what's the name?
Everything just gets erased. You see all of it just to get disintegrated.
The hell's his name? Darkseid just comes out. He's like, I found the anti-life equation. Pfft, everyone's dead. There you go.
And then you see Flash run back in time or something.
Because they really got to do something because,
Really establish that we're rebooting. We're not continuing this.
And I think they fucked themselves over again because they kind of try to be like, well, it's going to be like a soft reboot and we're going to carry over some elements.
Yeah, I think they need to rethink that, to be honest. I would go full hard.
And then Flash went, it's like, oh, fuck. We can't even save any of this. Like, we got to just go.
I mean, maybe Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. They can kind of get away with that, but that's it. Nothing else. I don't even think you can keep Shazam. Get rid of Shazam, too. You got to at this point.
Gal Gadot feels empowered to focus on other stories after scrapped Wonder Woman 3. I think that's it for her, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like, this whole interview is basically her being like, yeah, I'm basically a free agent now. I can kind of just go do whatever I want. It's very liberating to not have to worry about Wonder Woman anymore. Yeah, she's done. She's done.
The Heart of Stone star opens up about her future looks like beyond the DCU. Gal Gadot says she feels empowered to focus on telling other stories following the cancellation of Wonder Woman 3. When asked about her immediate future beyond DCEU in the new issue of Total Film magazine, which is out, blah, 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 blah. To me, starting and developing stories that I'm passionate about is an incredible thing. The fact that I don't have to sit still at home and just wait for the next offer is something that makes me feel empowered. I enjoy doing it. It keeps me alive. I'm not only going to do my own projects, I'm going to work as an actress for hire still. But the fact that I can go ahead and tell the stories that I'm passionate about, from ideas that I've conceived, or from ideas that I find fascinating from people that I want to partner with, it's an incredible thing. It's something that I'm so grateful for, and I'm definitely going to continue. That's because it's worth it. I'm very excited and humbly proud, she concluded. Remember I want to say a couple months ago, where like she was like, "Oh, I still love Patty, and we're besties, and don't worry." And everyone was like, she's coming back, guys.
Yeah, I remember.
And what I say? I said, she's done. She's done.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to believe it. People were like, no. I always thought she was a bad Wonder Woman. I know people give me shit. I don't think she's imposing enough to be Wonder Woman. Like, she looks like a stick. I know she's like a fucking Israeli special forces and like killed a bunch of people or whatever, but when I look at her, I go, I could take her ass. Like, I'm not supposed to look at Wonder Woman and go, I think I could take her.
Yeah, well. There's a lot of weird things going on, to be honest.
So she's gone. Ezra Miller gone. Cavill gone.
It's over.
Affleck, Keaton, and Clooney gone.
Yeah.
So who's left? What's his name? Ray Fisher gone. We just got Jason Momoa. And everyone's saying he's going to play Lobo. You think that's still happening?
I think he's going to be Lobo, yeah. I think they're just going to abandon Aquaman.
Well, I'm saying you got Aquaman 2. So if he bombs, if Aquaman 2 bombs, do you think they'll still go ahead with him being Lobo?
Yeah, they're just going to put him up in the makeup and the costume, try and make him look a little bit different, and just be like, yep, you're done as Aquaman. We're over. Just go be Lobo.
Do you think Lobo's going to get like a solo project or?
No, not right away. No, he's going to appear probably in Superman Legacy and just be in cameos, and eventually get like his own TV show on Max or something.
That sounds fucking lame. Like, for the level of excitement he was supposedly for, like, remember, this is all supposedly, right? We don't know he's playing Lobo, but supposedly he was super excited and like, I'm gonna be fucking Lobo, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he gets to continue in the DC universe. Maybe he will get a Lobo. Maybe there will be a Lobo movie. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think would you be excited for, like, hey, you get to play your favorite character, but you're gonna be like a cameo and maybe.
Well, if he's in multiple projects and like they hype him up to set him up to have his own movie or show, yeah, maybe. I mean, he gets to be in a Superman movie.
I wouldn't be hyped. Like, if that was what the extent, like, hey, we're gonna put you in a couple cameos, and if people really are excited, we'll maybe work on a project. But if they're like, hey, we're gonna put you in a fucking movie, a Lobo movie, and then cameo in Superman 2 or something, right? Like,
Well, traditionally the idea is that you have the cameos first, then the movie.
yeah,
That's typically the way it goes.
traditionally this hasn't worked for DC.
Well, that's more like a Marvel formula, though. You have the characters show up in other projects and they get their own project.
Yeah, that's why. Well, they did that. I mean, didn't Wonder Woman showed up in
BVS first, yeah.
No, but I see, because Lobo is so detached from everything. I could see you making a Lobo movie where he's off in space doing crazy space shit, right? And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, what's that planet?" And you see him like heading towards Earth. Because you really don't need to have him like be cameoed in anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it in, I don't know. They could do it in different ways to make it work. That's true.
It's like Kraven. Like, there's no cameo. He didn't cameo in anything. He just showed up. Like, hey, we're having a Kraven movie.
That's because Sony's Sony, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have had him cameo in something else. He could have cameoed in Venom or fucking Morbius, but he didn't, right? They're just fucking...
No, you're right. I get that.
Everyone will be in Legacy.
Pretty much. It feels like it's going to be like a big event movie where it's like, hey, this is the start of the universe. Let's go.
I don't think everyone should be. I think it should be focused on Superman.
It still will be, but I think...
no, like tightly, like a fucking tight focus on Superman. Establish the fucking pillar of the DCU, right?
Well, you gotta distinguish it from Man of Steel, though, because Man of Steel is only Superman. So I think if you have like at least one or two other characters, I think it's going to be okay. As long as you don't go crazy.
I think you could establish there's other characters. Like, obviously, he's going to be at the Daily Bugle, right? You could easily be like, where they're at like a pitch meeting, like, all right, we're going to pitch your stories. And like someone's like, what about that vigilante in Gotham? Nah, that's a myth. Well, what about that weird space cop that people keep saying they're seeing over fucking Star City or whatever, right?
Oh, I mean, like references and dialogue and stuff. Yeah, you can do that, but I think having something visual to, like, for example, if they have like a couple members of the Authority show up, that's okay. If they have like Mr. Terrific be like a scientist that Clark goes to or something, that can be okay.
I think it's gonna feel too, because they're not like.
It all depends on execution. Right? It depends on execution.
Oh, always, but. I think you should just focus on Superman, establish the Lex Luthor thing, really establish what Superman is, what he stands for, why he's doing what he does.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we're going to know the casting probably next month at Comic-Con, is my guess. He's casting it right now. He's doing the screen test right now.
No, right now he's on the phone with Henry. Please, Henry, come back.
Hell no. Hell no.
Please, Henry, please.
Yeah.
All these movies have bombed. Please come back.
I honestly don't think...
You would go nuts if Henry Cavill walked out at fucking Comic-Con as Superman.
I mean, it'd be cool, but I think also I'd rather just get a fresh start at this point. It's so... DC is so beyond dead right now. It's like 6 feet under. Like, we got to use like some necromancy to get this thing moving again.
If I was James Gunn, I would call up Henry Cavill and be like, dude, I don't want you to be Superman, but I just want you to come out on stage and then announce the Superman.
Oh, like pass the torch. Like, no, that's a good idea. Like, literally have Henry come out with the cape and be like, I'm here to announce the new Superman. He gives him the costume.
Yeah. But I would be a dick about it, though. I would be like, James Gunn would be like, and I would like to bring out a special guest. And then, like, you see him come out, like, oh, shit, everyone's all excited. And then just be like, announcing our new Superman, Henry Cavill. Just give it like a couple of seconds where like people are like, "Oh my god, he's gonna be Superman again!" Like, nope.
Yeah, you have to do that in a really specific way, though. But I think it would be cool if there was like a passing of the torch moment on stage.
Yeah, I think they should. They got to do something because no one is excited. No one cares.
It's also 2 years away, though. Maybe even 3 years away because of the writer's strike.
How old is Henry Cavill?
He's like 36, 37.
That's it? I thought he was older.
He's close to 40. I know that.
I was gonna say he can't play Jor-El. He's not young. He's not old enough.
Could play Ultraman maybe.
No, you know what? He could play Jor-El if you had like a flashback scene where he's like Jor-El and then like say that the recordings or whatever.
Oh, like younger Jor-El maybe or something like a hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that could work.
Or maybe they'll do like a Red Sun Superman movie and have him play Russian Superman. Listen, I think a Red Sun movie would be awesome.
I still think he's going to play Hyperion in the Marvel universe.
Nah, that's over, man. We're getting Sentry. We're not getting Hyperion. We're getting Sentry now with Stephen Yeun.
Yeah, but I still think they should hire Gal Gadot and all of them to play the Squadron Supreme and just have...
I know, it would be a really cool idea, but...
No, but just like have the Avengers just come in, like they're like, oh my god, who are those guys? And then like you build it up for a second, like it's the Squadron Supreme, they're the greatest superheroes from their universe, and then the Avengers just steamroll the shit out of them. Like fuck you, DC, haha, we just killed all you guys.
Yeah. Speaking of killing things,
new Batman film, Brave and the Bold, lands the Flash director Andy Muschietti, exclusive from Variety.
yeah, this killed everyone's hype the moment it got announced.
Do you think this is still happening?
Hell no.
Because this was announced on the 15th, right?
Yeah. They announced this to try, remember when they announced the Rian Johnson trilogy before The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. This is not going to happen. He did sign a first look deal with Warner Brothers. I do think he'll go make some horror movies for them, maybe some other films. But I think that he will depart the Batman Brave and the Bold project. It's so far away. I don't think Brave and the Bold's going to come out for at least 5 or 6 years from now anyway. It's not going to happen. I don't see it.
Well, it says, Muschietti, behind this weekend's superhero release, The Flash, will direct Batman the Brave and the Bold. The project is based on the comic series authored by Grant Morrison, who Gunn called exceptionally influential on the DC Universe in January. The comics imagine a Bat family where Bruce Wayne's biological son, Damian, serves as Robin to his dad's Batman. Muschietti's sister and creative partner, Barbara, will produce the project via their label Double Dream alongside Gunn and Safran. We saw The Flash even before taking the reins at DC Studios, and we knew we were in the hands of not only a visionary director, but a massive DC fan. It's a magnificent film, funny, emotional, thrilling, and Andy's affinity and passion for these characters in this world just resonate through every frame. So when it came time to find a director for The Brave and the Bold, there was really only one choice. Luckily, Andy said yes. Barbara signed on to produce with us, and we were on our way. They're an extraordinary team, and we couldn't have better or more inspiring partners as we embark on this thrilling new adventure in the DCU. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to walk all that back.
I know. I mean, here's the thing. The Flash, I don't think was Andy's fault. I think he made the best movie he could given the circumstances. It's just that he needs a different writer. I think that you need, because remember, The Flash was a Frankenstein of a monster of a movie. 8 different directors, 8 different screenwriters and scripts. It was a mess. The other thing, too, that was that, dear God, Andy, please, the love of God, use more practical effects or get a better CGI team, like a director, like an assistant for your CGI team or something, because you got to clean up your CGI work, dude. You know?
Donovan Martin says, I'm scared Gunn needs to get Spielberg to make Batman.
No, not Spielberg. No.
They could say creative differences.
I mean, maybe Andy could be a good choice. It's just that after The Flash, no one's excited about it. You know what I mean? No one's jumping up and down, oh my god, Andy Muschietti directing Brave the Bold. Now everyone's I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. You know what though? After you read that statement, that is kind of concerning because they made such a big deal about getting him. It's can you get rid of him? It'd be kind of embarrassing if we did. It's kind of a bad situation to put him in.
Yeah, I think maybe because like you said, it's real far away. So Andy, you need to go take a really big project. And then we'll be oh, Andy can't do it because he's doing this other
He's doing something else for us. He's doing the Attack on Titan movie, or he's doing he's doing another It movie for us or something. Yeah. That way he still stays at Warner Brothers. Things well, he just got busy. He's passing the ring to someone else. They'll find a way to get out of it.
And they'll claim oh, Andy handpicked so-and-so to be the director of the movie, right?
Or it's we worked together with Andy to make sure we picked the right person to take on the project. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I don't see any Andy Muschietti directing after this. Not in the DC side of Warner Brothers.
He'll probably be directing a lot of horror movies for them, which he's good at. He's good at horror. So
maybe they should have gave him Swamp Thing.
Maybe. I mean, I like the choice of James Mangold though. I do like me some James Mangold. So
isn't he directing the new Indiana Jones?
Well, Kathleen Kennedy is the one really directing that, but yes, his name's on it. Yeah. And
isn't that shit?
No, no one's seen it, so except for the people that can. So I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's shit or not.
I heard it was shit. I don't know.
Well, find out. Comes out next week or not? Next week. Yeah, next Friday.
We'll see. All right, I think that's all I got. You got anything, RJ? You want to plug anything?
Yeah, I got a channel. It's at Resident Justice on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. I occasionally do content and things. You want to find out my takes on things if you want to.
What didn't you say that you were gonna do a new like gaming thing? Weren't you like?
Yeah, that project's kind of ballooned into something bigger than I thought it was going to be, so it's just taking more time to cook. But yeah, we're still working on it. I'm working on that with a couple of different people, so should be launching hopefully soon. We're not gonna launch it till it's ready though. So we're just getting some stuff ready for it.
Sounds like something interesting.
Hope so. I hope it works out. Everyone involved with it's pretty excited about it. So
Is it going to be? Are you getting like a gaming house? Is that what it is, RJ?
no, not like that. It's gonna,
The RJ house with Saggy.
no.
Who's working on the project with you? Can you reveal?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much public. I'm working on this with Meta and Blinded. So
Oh, you're trying to steal Blinded from me, huh?
no, not at all. I mean he wants to work on it. So
See how it is. Now I'm gonna have to take you guys down.
it's what?
I don't know. Whatever it is you're doing, I'm gonna do better.
Okay. We appreciate the competition. I mean, appreciate the engagement. So
All right. You can find RJ at his channel, soon to be buried under our massive weight. But hey, it was a nice try, RJ. Nice try.
I think that's why you always gotta try.
Anyway, love, peace, booty grease. I'm out this bitch.